The following is an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
The World Baseball Classic, making America's game the international pastime.
El Clásico Mundial de Béisbol hace del pasatiempo estadounidense una pasión
The
internacional.
World Baseball Classic. Baseball is spoken here.
Fans of the Dominican Republic had gathered early this morning outside Petco Park in San Diego, the World Baseball Classic, with the Cuban team arriving also earlier this morning via bus, and the Dominican with its big stars ready to meet Team Cuba in the first ever World Baseball Classic. This is what it's been. But what does it mean? It means baseball without boundaries, around nations or emotions. It means flags before pennants, pride before pay, unity, opportunity on an international stage. It means effort and drama and the pure joy of play. For the Dominican Republic, it means power, as in Big Papi, Pujols, Beltre. Every big stroke, a statement to the rest of the field. We're the favorites for good reason, meant to be here. For this airtight band of amateurs, we can only guess what this all means. More perhaps than any sporting event in Cuba's complex history. Yulieski Gurriel, Osmani Urrutia, and Michel Enriquez, all larger-than-life figures on the island nation. Cuba has proved that it belongs on the same diamond as the pros. The Dominican Republic against Cuba. The semifinals in San Diego. To the fans, to the players, to baseball. What does it mean? It means the world. It's the World Baseball Classic. And just moments ago, after the playing of the national anthems of Cuba and the Dominican and the United States, teams from Cuba and the Dominican congratulated and wished each other well. The WBC presented by Taco Bell, the World Baseball Classic. And we are in the Final Four of this first ever World Baseball Tournament. The Final Four featuring in Game 1 Cuba and the Dominican Republic, and then later on tonight we'll see the teams from Japan and Korea go head-to-head yet again. Hello everyone, I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Joe, here we are. The world has come to San Diego, the baseball world anyway, and this tournament I think has exceeded everybody's expectations for excitement and drama and exciting play, and this Cuban team has not disappointed the people down there in Havana and the island nation of Cuba. And this ball club has shown a swagger. They're confident. They play hard-nosed baseball, and they play well. They have several guys who would be big league players, and now here they are up against the Dominican, maybe the stiffest test any team from Cuba, any national team, has ever faced here today.
Well, John, before I talk about Cuba, I want to say that I've watched most of these games on TV, and it's been very, very exciting. But I tell you what, there's nothing like being here. Just to watch these countries on the field shaking hands before the game, that was special for me. But when you look at the Dominicans, you're looking at 30 big-time stars, not just major league players, big-time stars on their ball club. So Cuba is really the underdog. But guess what? They can win this ball game because they have to do it with good pitching, great defense, and they're just going to have to play a solid ball game. They didn't play well last time. They made some errors, and the Dominican ran over them. I think they can get the job done today. I'm looking forward to this ball game.
All right, that was just a few days ago down in San Juan when the Dominican defeated Cuba 7-3. Now, this Dominican ball club is just loaded with great stars like Albert Pujols, National League MVP, David Ortiz of the Red Sox, who was number 2 in the MVP balloting in the American League, Miguel Tejada, a former MVP, and the starting pitcher today, Bartolo. He was the Cy Young winner in the American League last year, and they got a lot more talent than that too.
Well, I think the only thing that works in Cuba's favor is the fact that this is a tournament, and they're used to playing in these kind of tournaments, short-term situations. But when you look at Cuba, you also say they've got some good players as well. Yulieski Gurriel, the second baseman, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm a little partial to second baseman, as you know, but I'm also looking forward to seeing Yadel Marti. These two guys, I'm told, could be major leaguers. If they were in the major leagues right now, they could be stars.
All right, well, we'll see him up against some of the best major leaguers in the game. Cuba getting ready to come to bat. Bartolo Colon is on his way out to the mound. This ball game, semifinal, is just about to begin.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic is presented by the Taco Bell Chicken Caesar Grilled Stuffed Burrito, the burrito for Chicken Caesar salad lovers, and in part by Holiday Inn Express. Stay smart, stay at a Holiday Inn Express, and Trusted Choice.
My lady, your chariot awaits.
Oh, where's the chicken Caesar salad for the party?
I'm eating one right now.
That's a burrito.
And a chicken Caesar salad. One must peek under its little toga.
It's Taco Bell's Chicken Caesar Grilled Stuffed Burrito. Stuffed with marinated all-white meat chicken, crisp romaine lettuce, tortilla strips, and covered in Caesar dressing. All wrapped up and grilled to go.
I think your chariot's on fire.
For the Chicken Caesar Salad Lovers Burrito, think outside the bun.
Hey, look at me. Lock in. Crusher here has an extra deltoid muscle. Means he's got exponentially greater bucking propulsion. Now you lean back and you hang on. I'll be there.
New rodeo clowns are a lifesaver.
Rodeo clown? No, I'm with the birthday party. Hello, Jimmy! Oh, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
It's funny how you make decisions. Some decisions are easy, and some need a little help. So where do you turn for help when it comes to choosing your insurance agent? How do you decide who's going to help protect everything that's important to you? Don't leave that decision to chance. Look for a Trusted Choice agent. Trusted Choice agents offer you a choice of insurance companies.
At AOL, we believe everyone should be fast. That's why we're making it simple for our members to upgrade from dial-up to true broadband. To get AOL high-speed for as low as $25.90 a month, sign up now at AOL.com/highspeed.
2 out of 3?
Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL.
Growing up Dominican, baseball was everything. We used to grab a sock, to put a little rock to make it hard, just to play with that. It doesn't matter how bad or the condition, we love the game. I'm Albert Pujols, Dominican.
The World Baseball Classic, this March, 16 teams, over 400 superstars playing for pride and for the championship.
I'll be there for my country. Will you be there for yours?
The World Baseball Classic.
Aquí se habla béisbol. Baseball is spoken here.
We are at Petco Park in San Diego. It's a sunshiny day right now. We've had rain during the night. The field is a little bit wet, but everything is all set to go. Cuba and the Dominican Republic in this semifinal matchup. And we are very pleased to be joined by both Jose Mota for today's game and also the outstanding baseball writer extraordinaire, Peter Gammons of ESPN. And Peter, down in the field, how big are the stakes in this game? I mean, can we express that? Can we realize how big the stakes are with these two teams?
Well, Moises Alou said he went home to the Dominican on Wednesday, and he said then he really grasped just how huge this is. He said people were embracing him, hugging him. He said, honestly, I'm 40 years old. This is the biggest event in the history of my country. And today, the only people working will be the bartenders. And now to Jose Mota.
Cuban manager Eugenio Vélez told me moments ago that he will try to create a lot of offense on the bases and perhaps also making Bartolo Colon, the Dominican starter, field his position. Wow, does he know that Bartolo Colon possesses probably the best slide step in the major leagues, and that even though a big guy, Bartolo Colon quickly can get off that mound. John, Joe.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Peter. And again, we're awaiting the Dominicans' arrival out on the field, and here they come as we look into the Cuban dugout. But there go the Dominican Republic players, an all-star group. even though they're missing several of their biggest stars, you can imagine what kind of a club that would have been with the likes of Manny Ramirez, Vladimir Guerrero, Aramis Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, all missing for various reasons. Pedro Martinez not here because he was injured. He dearly wanted to be here, but just could not because of injury. Let's take a look now at the batting order for Cuba, presented by MLB 06, the show. It will be Eduardo Perret at shortstop, hitting .365 in the Cuban League. It will be Michel Enriquez hitting .448 third base. Yulieski Gurriel, whom Joe spoke about, at second base, hitting .314 this year. Ariel Borrero at first base, hitting .344. Frederic Cepeda in left field at .307. Osmani Urrutia in right field, hitting .447. Yoandri Garlobo, the designated hitter, hitting .409. Ariel Pestano, the catcher, the veteran, and a real leader on that infield. He is catching, hitting 8th, and Alexi Ramirez to center field, bats 9th, hitting .323. It's a young and very exciting Cuban squad, all up against Bartolo Colon, 21-8 last year for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and the Cy Young winner in the American League.
Well, let's talk about Colon. Colon is a power pitcher, and I think in a way that plays into Cuba's hands. They're a very aggressive group of hitters, and they will go after the first pitch. So we'll have to see if he varies his routine of throwing a lot of fastballs on the first pitch and see how that works out. And let's take a look at the defense. Kind of interesting. Placido Polanco will be the second baseman, and you know that they have Alfonso Soriano on this team. So I was a little surprised myself at how little that Soriano has played in this series.
And he has not hit when he has played. In fact, that is one of the reasons he's not in there. And Juan Encarnacion also has been put on the bench for this one with some ineffective hitting. Again, a beautiful day in San Diego, but there are clouds. There's still a chance of some more rain showers. We had a lot of rain late yesterday afternoon and into the evening and night. And it is very cool for San Diego. I mean, temperatures are in the 50s as we are ready to play ball here. Both of these ball clubs playing the last round of this tournament down in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Here is Colon to Perret. He bluffs the bunt, does Perret, takes a fastball in there for a called strike.
John, when I talked to Manny Acta today, the manager of the Dominican Republic, he said that the difference last time was Odalis Perez keeping the hitters off balance with his off-speed pitches, whereas Colon is throws more fastballs, although he throws a couple of different fastballs, a cutter, a sinker, and a riding fastball.
A ball and a strike. Now Perret again shows bunt, takes off the outside. And now the count is 2-1. The third baseman Beltre came rushing in when Perret showed bunt right there. Perret with Villa Clara in the Cuban League, .365 average this year. And that's back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no bluff of the bunt there. He was swinging away. Michel Enriquez, the league's leading hitter in Cuba this year, is on deck. And then Yulieski Gurriel, who has impressed everybody.
And it's not just about hitting, Johnny. I mean, just the way that he plays the game.
He made one of the great defensive plays of this tournament against Puerto Rico the other day, and that is strike 3. Good fastball down and away, and Perret could not make contact. Meanwhile, there is a live look at El Castillito in Havana, Cuba, and the streets are very quiet because everybody is watching this game. They reported the other day that 90% of the televisions in the country were all watching the game. There's indoors at the youth center in El Castillito watching the ball game, and we'll check in with them at various times today as there's an entire nation, not just the baseball fan, everybody down there rooting for Cuba today. That's off the outside, and I'm sure a similar scenario playing out in the Dominican as Peter Gammon was relating the story from Moises Alou. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that 2-seamer, a little sinking fastball, and it stayed too high. And the count 2-1.
I'll never forget my visit to Cuba when I went down to the hot corner. And I guarantee you they'll be there talking about this game after it's over today.
The Esquina Caliente. This is Tejada in the dirt, but pulled out by Pujols. And Michele Enriquez, hitting .448 this year, is retired for out number 2. Tejada has really struggled. He's been a kind of a source of consternation for the Dominican team in this tournament. He's struggled in the field. He's been sluggish at the plate, and we saw there he got saved from an error by the first baseman Pujols.
Well, a lot of times in spring training, your rhythm is not quite there yet, and that's what it appeared to me there. He didn't really extend his arm through the throw. And there's a called strike to Yulieski Gurriel, and Gurriel, only 21 years old and hitting .250 with a couple of home runs with Sancti Spiritus in the Cuban League, as a foul off to the right and back out of play. There are 30 players on each team's roster. That was the rule for this tournament. And every single one of those 30 players on the Dominican roster has had major league experience. But none playing for Cuba have ever played the big leagues. There's a ball up and away, that two-seam fastball again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And John, it's not just 30 players from Dominican. They're big-time players. You know, they've got stars.
And there's one of them, David Ortiz, Big Papi. And that one had the little wrinkle on the outside. Breaking ball, but it just was off the corner. 2-2 now to Gurriel. He made an immediate impact. He hit a couple home runs early on in this tournament, and they've been pitching him ever so carefully ever since. And a breaking ball again. There is Tejada. Gurriel hustling up the line just in time. And that throw did not have a whole lot on it either. 3 up, 3 down for Cuba. The Dominican Republic is coming up when we return.
Yeah, no, I gotta go. Yeah, I'm getting on.
I totally spaced on that one.
That was bad.
Let's just use your Capital One no hassle card.
Protect yourself with Capital One's low rates and great rewards.
I am so good.
Check your mailbox for details.
What's in your wallet?
To make a phone from Sprint brilliant on the outside, first you focus on the inside. Give it the power to watch live TV with news, sports, and weather at broadband speeds. And download full songs wirelessly right to your Sprint phone. Then bring it to life on the Sprint PowerVision network. Introducing the Samsung A900 exclusively from Sprint. Equally brilliant inside and out. See the future of phones today. Available at Sprint, Nextel, and Radio Shack. Sprint, yes you can.
It's one of the most coveted titles on tour, the Players' Championship, where the most talented golfers in the world meet the most exciting hole of the year, the treacherous 17th at Sawgrass. Now, an all-star field led by Tiger, Lefty, VJ, and Ernie look to safely navigate the infamous Island Green. Who will hit land and who will get wet? Splash. The Players' Championship. Coverage begins Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
In San Diego, the World Baseball Classic, the semifinals are here, as Albert Pujols will be due up third in the inning for the Dominican Republic. Let's take a look at the batting order for the Dominican, presented by MLB 06 The Show. Placido Polanco, the second baseman. Miguel Tejada, former American League MVP at short. Albert Pujols, National League MVP last year, first base. David Ortiz, Big Papi, had a spectacular year last year, the DH. Adrian Beltre of the Seattle Mariners, third base. He's been the big slugger in this tournament. 4 homers for the Dominican. It'll be Moises Alou, the veteran of the San Francisco Giants, at left field. Willie Mo Pena is going to go in right field in this ball game rather than Encarnacion, the young slugger of the Reds. Alberto Castillo, the veteran catcher, hits 8th, and Willie Taveras of the Houston Astros will bat 9th. And there is Polanco getting ready, or rather there's Tejada on deck with Polanco already at home plate. And we're just about ready to go now. The pitcher for the Dominican, Yadel Marti, 7-4 this year with Industriales, and the Industriales is the big team in Cuba. They're sort of the Yankees of Cuba, the Havana team. Marti, with his Cuban teammates' aspirations riding on his strong right arm. And he got that little hesitation, Joe, that little look that we're growing accustomed to seeing from the pitchers from Japan and South Korea.
Well, he doesn't have an overpowering fastball. He throws a lot of different speeds, changes speeds, a lot of different breaking pitches. As you can see, he can throw your timing off with the hesitation.
Down the third base side, that's a foul ball picked up by Alfredo Griffin, the third base coach for the Dominican Republic, a longtime Major League shortstop. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Polanco. Yadel Marti on the mound for Cuba, wearing number 90. Again, that hesitation, and the slide ball is just off the slide piece.
You know what he does well, John? Not only does he hesitate at the top, but then he turns his shoulders to get more momentum going to the plate. A lot of times they just hesitate and come forward. If you watch, he'll close his shoulders again after he hesitates at the top.
And that one's sinking down and in. Jose Mota is here with us. Jose.
Great angle here on that hesitation. What I noticed is this: he did not do it in the 2 rounds in San Juan. And also, when he comes up, not only does he hesitate, then he twists and shows his back a little bit more to that right-handed hitter.
Well, that's interesting. Jose, who of course was covering the games down in San Juan. Interesting that he's got a little bit of a different wrinkle for this game than he showed earlier. Interesting and unusual, I would say. 3-1 the count. And he curves him for a called strike. 3-2.
Watch how he turns his front shoulder. He hesitates. Now he turns it again. See that? That gets his momentum, gives him a little more power going to the plate.
3-2 to Polanco. And well-placed fastball, a protective swing, and Polanco is thrown out by Gurriel, and there is 1 away.
And let's take a look at the defense for Cuba. And the catcher has been the guy that's been stealing the spotlight, Ariel Pestano. I mean, he's kind of a throwback to your Little League days when he talks to the batters when they're in the batter's box. That old swing, batter, swing, batter, swing. Oh, this is what you're looking for? He does a lot of different things at the plate, and he's been getting under the skin of a few of the hitters, especially with David Ortiz.
Well, here's Miguel Tejada, and Ortiz hit a home run against Cuba the other day. He did some of his own chattering back to Pestano before he left the plate, and that's a called strike to Tejada.
No, when you watch Yadel, you realize that he kind of reminds you a little bit of El Tiante from the Boston Red Sox, who was also from Cuba with that type of emotion. Tiante was a lot bigger, but very similar motion.
And that's in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Luis would just spin completely around and just turn his back on a hitter before swiveling back around to throw the pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tejada. The Cuba's already got guys throwing down in the bullpen. I don't know if they're getting ready just in case or just staying loose or what. That's over the outside with a slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tejada.
Well, I think the Cubans realize, John, that they have to win this ball game with, let's take a look at the delivery again. Now watch his left shoulder. And he turns again. Now he hides the ball more, but he also helps him to gather momentum to come to the plate. But, John, I was going to say, I think the Cubans realize if they're going to beat this star-laden Dominican team, it's going to be with pitching, defense, and finding a way to score a couple of runs. So I think if they get in any trouble, you're going to see them use their whole staff just to get past this ball game if they can.
Here's Albert Pujols on deck. The great star of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1 out, nobody on, no score. 1-2 the count. And another slider in the dirt for a ball. So he's not throwing too many straight pitches.
No, he's an off-speed pitcher, has good control, and I think with his motion, it really helps him because once you turn your back on the hitter and you start forward, it looks like you're jumping at the hitter, and a lot of times that will throw the hitter's timing off.
Two and 2 the count. And back to the screen. And that was a pretty healthy looking cut right there.
Well, that's Lazo throwing on the left. but I'm not so sure if he's getting loose. He still has his jacket on. He may just be playing toss.
Number 32 is Norberto Gonzalez, a left-handed pitcher. And Lasso, as you say, Joe, still wearing his warm-up jacket, but playing catch down there. That sinker ran down and in. That's a pretty tough pitch there, but Tejada took it, and it was off the inside, apparently. 3-2.
Well, because he's thrown so many off-speed pitches, when he does throw the fastball, it kind of surprises you a little bit, and you can see that ball was definitely inside, but it did surprise Tejada.
So Marti has gone to a 3-2 count for the second straight batter. And he curved him there, fouled out of play. 3-2 the count.
And John, one of the things I noticed in watching the games, the Cuban teams seem to play longer games than anyone else, and you can see why. It's the way they pitch. They're deliberate about approaching the game, and Pestano talks to his pitcher quite often. So they are kind of a laid-back group here.
3-2 the count. They'll try it again. Marti to the plate. And Tejada, he got jammed with the high hard one there. And that's another thing that we've seen a lot from the Cuban team in these games in the tournament. They're not afraid to not just throw in, but they'll throw up and in a lot.
Well, you have to remember that most places you're taught to use both sides of the plate. You know, it's part of the way the game is supposed to be played. And as I said before, I think they play a very well-rounded ball game where their pitchers know how to pitch, their hitters know how to hit, and their defensive players know how to play.
3-2. Changed up on him. Gurriel battling with the sun and the shadows, and he lost it. And the right fielder may have lost it as well. Urrutia, and that one falls in. A very fortunate base hit for Miguel Tejada.
And this is how they lost the game to Dominican last time. They were making mistakes in the field, and you cannot give these great hitters of the Dominican extra outs. The ball goes up, and Gurriel goes out, but you can see he doesn't know where it is. And I think you're right, John. I think Urrutia lost it as well.
Because he was nowhere to be seen.
I think both of them lost it, and actually the sun is coming from that direction, looking, pointing toward right field more than any place else right now.
So the Dominican gets a break. Now the sun pops through again as we get clouds passing by and occasionally causing the sun to disappear. Here is Albert Pujols, and Albert has not been a big hitter so far in this tournament. 1 homer, 3 batted in, at .278 average. Big and strong. And that's a high fastball on the inside, or missing apparently off the inside maybe. 1 ball and no strikes. Pujols, who had 41 homers last year, with David Ortiz, who had 47 homers, on deck. You get Tejada, Pujols, Ortiz, Beltre, Alou, and even the young Willie Mo Pena. That's a lot of power. When you get into the Dominican's power, you don't get out of it for a long time.
John, is at the beginning, Manny Acta thought that, hey, I'm going to have all these stars. All I got to do is come out, sit on the bench, and clap and make out the lineup card. He said the first few games he's had to really manage, had to mix and match, etc. He said Albert Pujols told him, okay, we've got you. You got us to this point. You can sit back and relax. We'll take you the rest of the way. So we'll see how that works out.
It looked like that when the tournament first started. They played the first game against Team Venezuela in Orlando. And Ortiz hit a couple of home runs, and they were slugging. They won that game 11-5, and we thought, well, here we go. Nobody's going to shut these guys down. But they haven't really hit like that ever since. It's Pestano. You were talking about him, Joe. He's the take charge guy out there, and he's out to speak face-to-face now with Marti.
And it's not always a pat on the back, John. I mean, he yells at him. He will motion out to him. I mean, he'll, hit himself in the head like think out there. He does a lot of different things that, might even get on some of his pitchers' nerves every once in a while. But, I mean, he is definitely the leader out there, and he takes charge.
3-0 the count to Albert Pujols. But I'm guessing he'll be swinging away here, Joe.
I don't think so. I know you're. I think they're going to wait and just. Well, let's take a look. Well, we won't know anyway, but I don't think he was swinging. The reason I say that is watching Albert Pujols over the years, he does not swing 3-0 very often.
So with the walk, 2 men on, and here comes David Ortiz to the plate. In San Juan, David Ortiz hit the home run against Team Cuba, and he had a few words for Pistano before he headed out. That was just a spectacular home run.
And most of the time, as I said, Pistano is talking to the hitters, and if you do something, you talk back. And that's what Ortiz did by slinging his bat and yelling back at Pistano. And again, you see Lazo is now throwing. He took his jacket off. And like I said, they realize that they're going to have to pitch well to beat the Dominicans in this ball game, and they're not going to stick around with Marti too long if he's not able to get anybody out.
Jose Elosagui, the pitching coach for the Cuban team, has had a visit with Marti, who has thrown a lot of pitches already in this one. 2 men on, 1 man out. And this next pitch will be the 20th of the game, thrown by Yadel Marti, as Lasso is now, as Joe mentioned, warming up in the bullpen, taking that jacket off. And he changed up too low. 1 ball and no strikes.
And we look at Ortiz's numbers, and obviously they're not overpowering. They don't look like his normal number. But he's also walked 8 times. They've pitched him very carefully in this Classic.
He's been given the Barry Bonds treatment.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what has happened. He's been the guy that most teams have been afraid of.
I mean, he brought it on himself. Hit those 2 homers in that first game, and nobody's pitched to him ever since. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 men on, no score in the game. Another changeup, and got the call on that one. Bob Davidson, who's been in the center of controversy this week in the tournament, behind the plate, and David Ortiz is not too happy about that one. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, Peter Gammons, Jose Mota also with us. We're in San Diego, last of the first inning, Cuba nothing, the Dominican Republic batting with that power up there, and the Dominicans got a break, a pop-up, lost in the sun and the shadows. The combination, the sun started to disappear, and in the shadows, nobody caught it. And then Albert Pujols, the slugger, drew a walk. So Tejada at second, Pujols at first, and the fearsome slugger of the Red Sox, David Ortiz, at the plate. Pickoff play at first base, just back in time.
Oh man!
Now they had the pickoff going at second base, and then the first baseman curved in behind Pujols at first. They almost got him.
Well, I think that their timing on that play was perfect. I mean, it's just as perfect. Look at as soon as he gets there, the ball is there, the first baseman, and it's a very close play at first. They did it perfectly. Look at that. He gets there, and here comes the ball. Nice play.
Ariel Borrero, the first baseman, and that's part of these guys have played together a lot.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2 men on, 1 man out. And down and away, 2-1. Let's go down to Jose Mota.
That was a verbal sign between Marti, the pitcher, and Pistano, the catcher. Now, who read the verbal sign was the first baseman. That was his way of knowing that that play was on right there.
And there's another look at it. 2 balls and a strike. There's Pistano, the catcher. And the first baseman, Ariel Borrero. 2 men on, 1 man out. 2 balls and a strike. Big pitch here from Marti to Ortiz. Another changeup. 3-1.
Well, they definitely do not want to give in to either Pujols or Ortiz, and you can see that he's coming with changeups, off-speed pitches, just trying to hit the low, knee-high or the outside corner, knee-high inside, and he's missing. But it's very difficult when you do not have any margin for error to pitch out there, and that's why these guys are such great hitters. You have to be careful with each and every hitter.
Another 3-ball count for Marti. This is the 4th hitter that he has faced, and he's gone to a 3-ball count on all 4 of them.
And he's taken a lot of time in between pitches, and David Ortiz steps out. And that's why I said they're very deliberate in what they do and how they play the game.
Tejada at second, Pujols at first. 3-1 to Ortiz. That is foul into the Cuban bullpen area. Norberto Gonzalez is warming up out there, actually grabbed it on a hop. So now it is 3-2, and Maniactu has a decision to make here on a 3-2 count. Joe, what do you think?
Well, I don't think he'll send them, and I'll tell you why, because Beltre has been swinging the ball bat very, very well. So, I mean, you do not help them out by going through, helping, them get out of a jam by having a strikeout and a throwout. And the fact that you have a left-handed hitter up there, is very easy to throw the runner out at third base if he strikes out.
3-2 the count. Tejada and Pujols the runners. Marti ready. They're not going. Change up. Gurriel. There's one at second, and Perret back to first. A double play, and the inning is over. So a very cautious inning for Marti, but an effective one. No score after one.
From the man who brought fantasy to life comes a hair product born into reality. Beauty has a face, perfection a name. And now, you can experience a shampoo worthy of only one man's name.
Life comes at you fast. Ready for retirement? Get ready with Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side. What if you attached an innovative wing structure to some bicycle machinery and launched it from a sand dune? That works. What if you created a thin piece of plastic that could easily be used just like money anywhere in the world? That works. Suppose we created an IP network so far-reaching and expansive, it could make doing business more efficient around the globe. Suppose we put your global business network in the hands of world-class professionals, people who know it from end to end, people who know how to make it efficient. Verizon has joined with MCI to form Verizon Business, where global capability meets personal accountability to make your business more successful and your life a little easier. That works. Introducing Verizon Business.
First base, $58. Second base, 630 pesos. Third base, 300,000 yen. Home, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Fan of the game, wherever there's a game.
Well, Cuba got out of a jam there in the first inning. 2 men on, 1 man out. David Ortiz up, but they survived it. Ortiz hit the double play ball, Joe.
Well, the one thing that he did is, without running the runners, that's what you risk. But you can see that a very easy double play turned by the Cubans, and the reaction in Cuba is what you might expect.
Inside El Castillito, the youth center down in Havana. That's a base hit. First ball swinging Borrero in the alleyway, cut off by Taveras of the Houston Astros. And he throws the ball all the way right back into the pitcher, Bartolo Colon. A base hit for Borrero.
And that's what we're talking about. The Cuban hitters are very aggressive, John. They like first pitch fastballs, and Colon throws a lot of first pitch fastballs. First pitch fastball, line drive, base hit to left center field. So I think that's one thing that Acta talked about, is that he can't always start every hitter with a fastball because they're so aggressive.
Now here's the 25-year-old Frederic Cepeda. And back to the bag at first is Borrero. Borrero was hitting .344 in the league season this year for Villa Clara. Now Cepeda.
And John, Jose told us that they were going to try to run, hit and run, bunt, do some things to manufacture some runs. Let's see if they'll try something right here. Yeah, they're running
the bunt, and this is going to have to hurry just in time. Colon just got Cepeda as Borrero moves over to second base. It'll go as a sacrifice, but I think he was also trying to beat that one out.
Well, that's the way to do it. I don't believe that when you have guys that can run a little bit, why should you just automatically give up the out? try to drag it, try to drop the ball down, put some pressure on the defense, and he does so here. But also, as Motor was telling us, Colon feels his position very well. So a good play by Colon and a smart play by Cepeda to get the runner in the scoring position.
And, you know, in Major League Baseball, there are not many fifth-place hitters that would be bunting or whom you would expect ever to bunt.
In the second inning.
Here is Osmani Urrutia, caught, and that will be a double play. Polanco went up to get it, and he flips it over to Tejada to double up Borrero. The inning is over, a 3-pitch inning for Colon. Adrian Beltre coming up.
1, 2, 3. The way I look at this, guys, we can match their effort. It takes heart and pride on every possession. Or we can just kick down the door. Are you ready? Yeah! Are you ready?
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship continues through April 4th on ESPN, presented by Orbitz.
Hey, man, that car is off the hook.
I like classics made modern. What's that? Same deal. It's Crunchwrap Supreme. All the classic Taco Bell taste grilled up, so it's good to go.
The Crunchwrap Supreme is back. Beefy, melty, crunchy, cool, classic Taco Bell taste loaded into a flour tortilla and grilled for maximum portability.
Taco Bell?
Good to go. For classic Taco Bell tastes that are good to go, think outside the bun.
Tonight, I celebrate my love for you.
Colorful M&M's minis deep inside a creamy chocolate bar. Amazing. Eat crunchy and peanut butter. Ah, yes.
The Braves signed me when I was 16 years old on account I had a major league cannon.
Yeah, I remember J.T. Smith. That's a guy that he threw the ball so hard, but he couldn't hit the side of a red barn.
But when I gave up pitching, I just started bowling, and the similarities were pretty apparent from the get-go. My job as a pitcher was always to intimidate. Now I intimidate the pins.
Nice. Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
That counts, right?
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. It's your one-of-a-kind one-stop shop for everything from performance parts to cool custom accessories.
The World Baseball Classic from San Diego. And the Dominican Republic comes up last of the second against Yadel Marti. And that is a curveball in there for a called strike to Adrian Beltre, followed by Moises Alou and Willie Mo Pena. No score in the game. Beltre, he'd been the big bat, really. 4 homers, more than any other of the Dominican sluggers. 9 RBIs. And remember, many thought he really earned the MVP award in the National League 2 years ago, but Barry Bonds won it, and it was hard to argue with that, such an incredible year that he had. But Beltre had one of the great years any third baseman in the National League has ever had 2 years ago. Then he went as a free agent to Seattle, and it just was not there. The magic was gone last year. Ended up with 19 homers, 87 batted in, which not bad, but not what the Mariners were hoping for. But he might be given notice that the Beltre we saw with the Dodgers, you look at those numbers he had 2 years ago, and that's the Beltre we've seen in this tournament. Coming hard in center field and grabbing it is Alexei Ramirez, and there is one away.
Charles, let's take another look at the bunt last inning by Cepeda. Now watch, he's going to try to bunt it down the third baseline here to drop it down. He doesn't do that, but he still gets to run to second base. If that ball is anywhere to the left side of the mound, he's going to beat it out because he was only out by half a step. The point is, they're using their speed. They're not just giving up an out. They're trying to beat it out for a base hit, and then who knows, the next guy might have bunted as well. Because in a sense, this is still, you know, David against Goliath, because the Dominican can put 8 or 10 runs on the board in a hurry, and you're going to have to manufacture a few runs if you are the Cuban team.
Well, here's another veteran slugger for the Dominican, Moises Alou, now with the San Francisco Giants, facing Yadel Marti, working from the stretch, and that's a ball inside. By the way, Marti was not originally going to be a member of the 30-man Cuban squad for the tournament. Daniel Betancourt, who by all accounts is the #1 pitcher in Cuba, but he's had some arm problems this year, so they scratched him and they inserted the young up-and-comer Yadel Marti. And you can imagine, I mean, he's got to be feeling all kinds of pressure pitching in this huge ball game, but Marti was ever so cautious in that first inning, but got through it. 2-0 the count as he faces Alou with Willie Mo Pena on deck. 2-0 the count, and a slider. It's 2-1. Jose Mota downstairs.
In between innings, I noticed pitching coach Jose Elosegui telling Marti, do you feel more comfortable from the stretch or the windup? And he said, you know what? I need to make good pitches, so I'm going to go right from the stretch.
Well, that's interesting, and he's not hesitating as much from the stretch as he was from the windup.
And the 2-1 pitch and a high slider, and Moises with a wild swing at that one. 2-2 the count. Well, you know, that brings up an interesting point, because Jose mentioned in that first inning, Joe, that he had a new affectation in that windup, that hesitation that he did not display earlier in the tournament, and which was kind of odd.
Yeah, but he's not, as you see, he's not hesitating. He just kind of goes. And every time you pitch from the stretch, you can't hesitate, because if you have runners on. So this is more the proper rhythm for him than the hesitation.
And that is strike 3 call. Another breaking ball, and Moises is caught looking out #2.
Well, the one thing you're looking at is the guy was throwing from a different position the first time up. Now he's coming back. You know, he's throwing from the stretch, and he's not hesitating, and that pitch gets a lot of the plate. He just fooled Moises with the pitch completely. That was a breaking ball almost right in the middle of the plate.
And that's one aspect of this tournament. There are a lot of the major league hitters especially seeing pitches that they have never seen before.
Correct.
And Marti did not pitch in that game against the Dominican for Cuba last Monday down in San Juan, so they're seeing him for the first time. 2 down. Here is Willie Mo Pena. This guy's got some of the enormous power. It was a high fly ball. Here is Cepeda. He dropped the ball. He tried to one-hand it and dropped it. At the same time, Willie Mo Pena was just kind of trotting, so he gets only 1 base.
Everybody had given up on the play. You know, I mean, it's like a routine fly ball. And Willie Mo runs to first base, and he had actually started toward his position. The Cuban players are coming off the field, and watch this. This is what has happened to players now. You one-hand the ball, hits in your glove, and comes out. Kind of nonchalance the play. Look at this. I mean, it's a routine fly ball, and it hits him right in the middle of the glove and bounces out.
And in Havana, they were watching.
Well, I mean, they understand you cannot afford to give these hitters on the Dominican Republic 4 outs. You give them extra outs, and you're going to end up paying for it before the game is over.
And that's the second inning in a row in which they've given them an extra out. Here is Alberto Castillo. But 2 down, and Pena at first, and Pena should be at second.
Should be.
You know, one thing that also happened there to Cepeda on that fly ball, he broke back on it initially. I think he may have seen Willie Mo Pena take some batting practice and just assumed everything he hit was going to go deep, but he went back and then had to come in, and it is a bright, sunshiny day.
Yeah, but guess what? He's supposed to catch that.
Yeah, I guess
easily.
I guess when you're right there under it,
yeah,
you're supposed to catch it
easily. I don't care if it's a hailstorm. When you're standing under the ball like that, you're supposed to catch it.
1 ball and no strikes, the count to Castillo. You know, it's interesting. The Dominican has all of these great major league players, some of the top players in the world, and yet Alberto Castillo has been their regular catcher for this tournament, and he's a guy who's been a journeyman in the big leagues. He's been up and down between the majors and minors many times for many, many years. And he had a theory as to why that is, why they don't have any real all-star caliber type catchers, and he says he thinks it's because of guys like Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, and those great sluggers that they've had. The young kids who play baseball,
like them.
They want to be those guys.
Yeah.
He says when he retires, he wants to open an academy for catchers. He wants to teach young Dominican ball players how to be catchers, because he thinks they have a chance to have some great catchers. And the count is 2-2. That's great. That's what you've talked about many times over the years, Joe.
Idea.
A big leaguer giving back to the game.
No, I think it'd be a great idea. Because, I mean, he's right about that. They do not have players at that position like they do at other big league positions.
I mean, you look up and down the lineup, almost everybody in the lineup has got 30 homers, 40 homers, whatever. And then the catcher, the starting catcher, had 1 home run last year and didn't even play that much in the big leagues. Castillo is down on strikes. 1 error, 1 left, on to the 3rd inning now. Garlobo coming up, no score.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play Take On Orbits.
Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go. Done. Orbitz notifies anyone you're running late automatically.
Introducing Orbitz TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbitz and go.
Lily, I'm home. 3 depositions and an emergency brief to file. So, how was your day?
Too busy to meet people? Call It's Just Lunch. We'll personally match you with someone who shares your interests, then make all the arrangements for lunch or drinks after work.
It's Just Lunch is a terrific thing for people that are busy.
You basically show up. It's effortless. It's easy.
I just got tired of the bar scene.
Save during our annual spring promotion and get a free copy of our guide to dating in your city. Call 800-99-LUNCH.
Pick a track. Monza, Monaco.
I'm thinking Monaco.
Let's hit it.
With new Intel Centrino Duo mobile technology in your laptop.
What are you doing?
Monaco, baby.
Your digital entertainment really comes to life.
It's funny how you make decisions. Some decisions are easy, and some need a little help. So where do you turn for help when it comes to choosing your insurance agent? How do you decide who's going to help protect everything that's important to you? Don't leave that decision to chance. Look for a trusted choice agent. Trusted choice agents offer you a choice of insurance companies.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Intel, makers of Centrino Duo mobile technology.
We are in Petco Park, San Diego. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, joined by Jose Mota and Peter Gammons down in the field. And it's a beautiful looking day, but it's a crisp day. 58 degrees was the official game time temperature. Temperatures that neither one of these ball clubs is used to right now. Certainly not down in Cuba or the Dominican. So those fans we saw in Havana watching at El Castillito are feeling a lot more comfortable maybe than the guys they're rooting for today. The team from Cuba, as Yoandre Garlobo takes a ball from Bartolo Colon. Garlobo hitting .409 in the Cuban season this year. One of 3 400 hitters in the Cuban season who were on this roster and in this starting lineup. Garlobo .409 with 19 home runs. He got more homers in the Cuban season than any other starting player here today. Bluffed the bunt right there. Took a strike. 2-1.
There you see another interesting point. 2-0, a slugger would be trying to find a ball to drive out of the ballpark. He's just trying to get on base any way he can.
Garlobo with Pestano, the catcher, on deck. Ooh, wow, where was that one? That one looked pretty good. Not that I'm umpiring from up here.
Well, yeah, because this ball's up and in, John. I could see that from up here. I don't know. I didn't want to say anything. It's early in the season. I think you're still in spring training too, but that was high.
I don't feel that K-zone is 100% accurate. That's a called strike. Now Garlobo.
I mean,
Garlobo thought that pitch.
No, he was. You know what he did? I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, he's a slugger. He gets a 3-1 fastball, but he was breaking before even the pitch came. He was starting at first base. He was just going to assume it was going to be a ball.
He's just anxious to get on base somehow.
Any kind of way, any way he can.
He is leading off the inning.
Yeah, but he is a slugger. I mean, 3-1.
Well, he's gotten himself aboard. That's a base hit off the end of the bat into right center field. Willie Mopena juggles it. Garlobo hustling around first, but he'll hold on there. Hit number 2 for Cuba. Later on tonight, Cuba and the Dominican will be interested, or whichever one of them wins here, because Korea and Japan will play once again, and that was the reaction of Ichiro and the planting of the flag by Jae-So, the Korean pitcher, after they beat Japan for the second time in this tournament Wednesday night in Anaheim, a 2-1 win, and we'll see them later on tonight. Peter Gammons is standing by downstairs, and Peter has got a news story, and it's not a good one for the Korean team, as Pestano is at the plate, and back to first is Garlobo.
John, I think the Koreans thought they had planted Japan out of the Classic when they did that. They didn't know they're going to have to meet them again tonight.
Well, you know, I think they thought so.
Yeah.
And according to Sadaharu Oh, the great manager of the team from Japan, he thought so too.
Yeah, so maybe they did that a little prematurely.
That's a foul into the batter's box area. Let's go down to Peter Gammons.
Well, John, Korean pitcher Myung-Won Park, who's not really significant, only pitched in one game in the series, tested positive and has been disqualified from the series. What's significant here is that these are the World Anti-Drug Agency tests, blood tests, that have been used in this tournament. One player, the entire tournament, tested positive. If you talk to players around baseball, they'll tell you the Major League Baseball drug tests are far more closely supervised this spring. One player told me a guy showed up at his door during the winter, ordered him to step back, pull down his pants, produce a specimen, as baseball is trying to move forward from a fairly ugly period of its history.
Well, that's an interesting report, and prompted by the revelation. Actually, it occurred late last night, I guess. The announcement made that the Korean pitcher, and again, he only pitched in one game, and that was the first game of the tournament 15 days ago in Tokyo. But and he'll be banned from international competition now for the next 2 years. Pestano off the end of the bat, Alou in shallow left, and Pestano is retired with Garlobo going back to first. One out in the third inning. No score in the game.
See, John, that's the way you're supposed to catch it, if you get under it.
So get under it and then
make the
squeeze
catch.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just always looks bad, and you see it in the major leagues as well.
Yeah.
When a guy one has it, and occasionally they drop it. I mean, it's just the worst thing possible. Well, it looks like they weren't even trying.
Right. I think that, you know, when you're a young player, I think you should catch the ball with two hands. I mean, major league players are accomplished players. They know what they're doing. They can do that. But most young people should catch the ball with two hands. That what is not just using the other hand, but it keeps your focus trained directly on the ball, and you watch it right into your glove.
Yeah. Here's the play we're talking about.
I guarantee you, I didn't watch it that closely before, but I guarantee he takes his eyes off the ball. Now watch, he's watching. And right there, you see his eyes drop down, and the ball comes out. If you have both hands up there, you're going to keep your eyes up on the ball. It keeps your head up, and you see Moises Alou watches the ball into the glove. But I guarantee you, he saw that guy miss it out there. He said, I'm not going to let that happen to me.
Here is Alexei Ramirez now. Down to the crest. There goes Garlobo. Castillo's throw. One hop to tag. He's out. Polanco gets the put out. Castillo with a perfect one-hop throw. I'm not sure he intended it to be one hop, but it worked out well.
Well, I think Castillo's point was he wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible, and he doesn't make a strong throw, but it's accurate. Watch where it goes. It's, I mean, very accurate, right to the inside part of the bag. And Polanco stands there, catches it. See, I mean, this is a very accurate throw. It wasn't a strong throw, but it was accurate.
Chris Guccione, the second base umpire, made the call. Now the count goes to 1-1 to Alexei Ramirez with 2 down and nobody on.
And again, you see the Cubans trying to make something happen, trying to, you know, manufacture a run.
And I know that's the kind of ball you appreciate. That's just off the glove of Colon, and through the middle. It's a base hit for Ramirez.
Well, I appreciate it if you do not have a team like the Dominicans who can all hit home runs. I mean, you've got to find, you can win in a variety of ways. There's nothing to replace the home run. If you have guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, those are instant runs. But if you do not have that, then you've got to figure a way to manufacture some runs.
Bill Castro, former big league pitcher. And now the pitching coach for the Dominican Republic out to the mound, dispatched by manager Manny Acta. Now there's a lot of pressure on guys like Manny Acta and down in Venezuela. Yeah. Luis Sojo managed that ball club with the hopes of an entire nation resting on their shoulders. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. It's the World Baseball Classic. Peter Gammons is here with us. Jose Mota. We're at the beautiful Petco Park on a cool, crisp day here in March for the World Baseball Classic. The semifinals, Cuba and the Dominican. Later on tonight at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, the Japan team will take on Korea in the other semifinal game. In foul ground, Pujols calls off Castillo. And one pitch after the visit by Bill Castro, Eduardo Perret, the leadoff man, is retired. Castillo, who earlier threw out Garlobo. Tejada coming up third when we return.
Introducing mobile ESPN. Sports fans, your phone has arrived.
Welcome, Caesar lovers. May I present the Chicken Caesar Salad? You may.
I love Caesars, but these are burritos. Oh, you just gotta peek under its little toga.
It's Taco Bell's Chicken Caesar Grilled Stuffed Burrito. Stuffed with marinated all-white meat chicken, crisp romaine lettuce, tortilla strips, and covered in Caesar dressing. All wrapped up and grilled to go.
Great, Caesar.
Why, thank you.
For the Chicken Caesar Salad Lovers Burrito, think outside the bun.
Excuse me, do you believe your brokerage firm's advice is objective?
Sure. Their objective is to sell me something.
Well, he only calls me when he's got something to sell.
I made it my objective to do my own investing. So I switched to TD Waterhouse. Best move I ever made.
TD Waterhouse brings together free, independent research and third-party reports so you can make your own objective decisions. You can do this. Switch today to TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers.
This is who I am. This is where I'm from. This is what I believe in when the day is done. This is Budweiser. This is clear. Budweiser. The king is here. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Now the Dominican comes up. No score in the game. Last of the third inning. And for the team from the Dominican on deck, there is Placido Polanco, the leadoff man. But at the plate is Willie Taveras from his rookie season with the Houston Astros last year. Got himself into or helped get the Astros into a World Series. And with all of the sluggers that they had, Manny Acta thought maybe we ought to put our best defensive player out there in center field. And so Willie Taveras got the call. He's not a power hitter. Has not done much hitting of any sort in this tournament. 2 for 19 facing Yadel Marti. Drops a bunt. He's got great speed. Pestano. Here's the throw. Safe. A bunt for a hit by the speedy Taveras.
And it was an excellent play by both the hitter and Pestano, the catcher. I mean, this is almost a perfect bunt down the third baseline. It hits and it just kind of dies there. But Pestano got out there very quickly and made a strong, accurate throw. Now watch, this is a perfect bunt. Look at that. It's in the air for a little while. Pestano picks it up and fires a strike to first base and makes it close. But with Taveras' speed, you really do not have a chance. See, no chance for the pitcher or the third baseman. The only one who can make the play is the catcher, and he does it perfectly, but just not in time.
Yeah. I mean, a great play by Pestano.
Excellent.
Now Taveras, he's the one Dominican hitter that when he's on there, you expect him to try and steal. He just hadn't been on very much in this tournament.
And you got a perfect guy up there for him to get a pitch or two to steal on or hit and run. Polanco can really handle the bat. He's a perfect number 2 hitter, actually. He's hitting leadoff here, but he's perfect to be hitting behind the guy that can steal bases.
This is Polanco. And back to the bag is Taveras. The Dominican Republic has another outstanding base stealer on their roster, but he's kind of stuck behind the veteran Miguel Tejada for the tournament, and that is the outstanding young Mets shortstop, Jose Reyes. He was one of the best base stealers in the majors last year, one of the most prolific. Now, if you're thinking about sacrifice bunt, the Dominican has not had a single sacrifice bunt in the tournament, but they're looking maybe to change that.
Well,
right
you
here.
know what? I don't even know if that was a sacrifice, John. I know he squared around, but a lot of times, if you want to give a guy a chance to steal a base, you square around because that holds the catcher back. He can't come forward and get the ball and throw the base stealer out. It makes him hesitate a little longer. He can't come from behind the plate as quickly. So, you know, even if he squares around, he may pull the bat away if Taveras gets a good jump at first base and tries to steal.
There's Taveras over at first base. And back to the bag. Taveras had 34 steals in his rookie season with the Houston Astros. By the way, the Cuban bullpen, I mean, they've been throwing since about the fifth pitch of the game, and they're throwing again. Norberto Gonzalez, the left-hander, and Pedro Luis Lasso, the veteran right-hander, warming up out there. Another throw to first, and again Taveras is back to the bag. And
Lasso again has his jacket on. He's just playing catch, and all of a sudden he'll take it off and throw, but
Miguel Tejada on deck. After Polanco, that's when you get into the Dominican Republic's formidable power. He's not showing bunt this time and takes a ball. Now it's 2-0. Jose Mota is down in the field. Jose?
As you talk about Cuba's bullpen, not unusual at all to see a couple of guys getting loose. Not only getting loose, we saw Lazo in Puerto Rico actually warm up for 3 consecutive innings and then shut it down.
Wow. And again, when you're talking about tournament play versus, say, a major league season where you're playing every single day, a lot of things are different, and Cuba has more experience in this kind of play than any other team, any of the other players in this tournament.
And a lot of their pitchers especially are interchangeable. Some can start, some can relieve, and some can close, and we've seen them use these different pitchers in that manner. They've pitched in a lot of different situations.
No score in the game. Last of the third inning. Polanco hitting leadoff, playing today rather than Alfonso Soriano, the slugging second baseman.
This is a perfect hit and run situation here if you want to try it, but we'll see. I just think you have to go ahead and do something when you have a guy like Taveras. Go ahead and do something with him. If you want to hit and run, this is a perfect spot to do it in.
Well, Polanco has not struck out in this tournament in 15 previous plate appearances. 2-1 the count. He's running. And the foul. He got jammed in that one, a pitch that might have been out of the strike zone, and the count is 2-2.
Yeah, Taveras didn't look like he had a great jump, so it was more of a hit and run than it was a steal and run and a hit. You know, he's trying to, normally if you're a base stealer, even if it's a hit and run, you try to steal the base anyway in case the guy swings and misses.
But that's not what he was doing.
No, it looked like that. That was definitely just a planned hit and run play. But now with 2 strikes, he may try to steal the base.
2-2 to Polanco. Tejada on deck. Middle infield double play depth for Cuba. He's not running. And they might get 2 on this one. And the relay back to first in time. Plenty of time. Eduardo Perret taking that throw from Gurriel, and they get another double play. That's the second they have turned in the first 3 innings of this game.
Well, they look smooth out there on that play. I mean, that was, you can't do it any better than they did there. I mean, just very smooth from Gurriel to Perret. Now watch how smooth that is. I mean, it allows Perret to come across, get out of the runner's way. I mean, this is a perfect feed. Watch the feed, chest high, and just allows him to get out of the runner's way, and then he makes a perfect throw to first base.
That double play, that's like a bit of performance art.
Yeah, and it is. That's what's great about watching double plays.
2 down, nobody on. Here is Tejada. Nice pickup at third base with a lunging Enriquez. A high throw, but recovered by Borrero to retire Tejada. Pujols left on deck. No score. The big hitters are coming up for Cuba.
The Clark family has reported earnings 30% higher than expected.
Also ending higher yesterday, the Walker family at 12 1/4.
Think about your family and yourself as a company. with assets to protect and grow, a financial future to be managed.
So what do you think about the Burns family?
Positive cash flow and a conservative balance sheet.
And so, you have to plan, chart a course. At John Hancock, we now offer a wider range of innovative investment opportunities, giving you access to some of the world's best companies.
The Martin family has opened for trading in Hong Kong.
For the benefit of the most important one.
And finally, the Peterson family ended the day on a positive note.
The new John Hancock. Investments for the opportunities. Insurance for the unexpected.
I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, the World Baseball Classic, and there is no score after 3 innings, and we're very pleased to be joined by the manager of the Dominican Republic national team, Manny Acta. And Manny, muchísimas gracias for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, your starter today, Bartolo Colon, he's got almost breezed through these first 3 innings. I mean, he could go 95 pitches today. How long would we anticipate seeing him in this ball game?
80 quality pitches. That's what I'm looking for Bartolo throughout the whole tournament, and we haven't been pushing that pitch limit. And we have a couple of starters that are available to go today too, so 80.
When you watch your hitters, I mean, against this Marti, I mean, he throws a lot of off-speed pitches. Are they making any adjustments, or what are they going to do here?
They are. They know that he's pitching backwards, and they're making the adjustment. Marti is doing a good job of slowing down the game and try to get guys off balance and all that. But they are making adjustment. It's just, it's still baseball. You still got to hit it where they're aiming.
All right. Well, and Manny, what about at the end of the game? If you have a lead, 8th, 9th inning, who are your guys at the end of the game today?
We have Sanchez, who's done a terrific job for us, and also have Fernando Rodney available for today. So those will be the guys to close the games.
All right. And again, Manny, many thanks. We really appreciate you coming on with us.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And what Manny was talking about, pitching backwards, means when it's a fastball situation, they're throwing breaking balls. When they're behind in the count, they're throwing breaking ball. When they're ahead in the count, which calls for breaking balls, they're throwing fastballs.
Adrian Beltre, and he throws out Enriquez. Enriquez hitting .448 in the Cuban season with 12 home runs. But he is 0 for 2 in this one after grounding to short his first time. He grounds out to third this time. And the batter will be Yulieski Gurriel, one of the great young talents in Cuban baseball.
And John, when you look at a hitter, you can see certain things in the way his approach at the plate, how his stance, how he sets up. He just looks very solid in his approach, to swinging the bat, in his stance, in his where he holds the bat. A lot of guys hold the bat maybe low and they raise it or drop it. He starts his almost in a perfect position, and he just kind of pushes it away. That way he can hit the high pitch as well as the low pitch. I mean, look at that. That's just pretty much perfect posture there to be able to hit the ball inside and outside part of the plate.
I mean, he's got that kind of a Julio Franco thing going with that bat wrapped around back behind his ear.
But look at his stance. See, everything looks solid to me right there. Nothing seems off balance or out of kilter. Everything seems to work in sync.
Good slider there from Colon over the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gurriel. Ariel Borrero is on deck. No score, 4th inning. And the slider popped up foul and back out of play. Well, Bartolo Colon, 21-8 last year, and he's had postseason experience. However, when he had a chance to help the Angels eliminate the Yankees in Game 5 of the division series last year, he had to leave that game with a back injury. 1-2 the count. Oh, that was awfully close. It started off the outside and moved back to the plate.
I take that back. I take this back. You're not in spring training. You're in mid-season form.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to bring that K-zone here today anyway? That's a ball outside. 3-2 the count.
You made a point earlier, John. I think it works both ways. You were talking about the fact that, the Dominicans and most of these players haven't seen the pitchers on the other team. Well, it goes in reverse. The Cuban players haven't seen Bartolo Colon in a lot of these pitchers either. So everything kind of evens out.
Well, when Bartolo was a younger pitcher with Cleveland, even the guys who saw him all the time, most of the time when he threw the pitch, they didn't see it. Because he was throwing gas, 98, 99, 100 miles an hour.
And he was throwing them after 100-plus pitches. He was still up in that range.
Yeah. But he's a different kind of a pitcher now. He doesn't have that kind of gas anymore. Still a power pitcher, but he got a lot more in his arsenal than he used to have. 3-2 the count to Gurriel. Strike 3 call. And Gurriel thought he had himself a walk.
Well, I was surprised. It looked like a good, maybe it's a two-seamer that runs back inside. So he's set up outside. Now watch where the pitch is. It runs back right over the outside corner. Beautiful pitch there by Bartolo Colon. See, that's why we have K-zone, John. See, it shows you when it's a strike. That was a strike right there. Perfectly thrown strike over the outside corner from Colon.
They're calling that one a strike? Are you kidding? 0-1 the count now to Ariel Borrero. Borrero hit a single his first time. That's a little foul off to the right. 0-2 the count. Well, K-zone. I love K-zone.
I do too.
You know, whenever I see a game that doesn't have K-zone, I'm like, where is it? Yeah. Come on.
But you know what problem I have is K-zone keeps me from questioning the pitches.
Oh no, I don't believe in that. But I'm at the same time happy to report that K-zone keeps saying how right Bob Davidson has been today.
And most of the umpires, most of the time.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about Bob Davidson in particular.
The Bob
right now.
Davidson. Okay.
Yeah. Because this has been a bad week for Bob.
Yeah. It has not been one of his better weeks.
Like, you know, Bob would have been better off the other night in Anaheim if they, you know, we didn't have K-zone, but they did have a foul pole. You know, and that really made him look bad. 1-2 the count. And that is strike 3. So Colon with 4 shutout innings. No score. Last of the 4th. Albert Pujols. Then David Ortiz when we return.
There's a place where the show never ends. Where jazz greats sit in with punk geniuses. Where big names open for no names. Where the man in black shares the stage with some kid from the village. Where every seat is front row, every note perfect, and every song is dedicated to you. #1 site for independent music. Now, get 25 free iPod compatible downloads just for trying us out.
It's one of the most coveted titles on tour, the Players' Championship, where the most talented golfers in the world meet the most exciting hole of the year, the treacherous 17th at Sawgrass. Now, an all-star field led by Tiger, Lefty, VJ, and Ernie look to safely navigate the infamous Island Green. Who will hit land and who will get wet? Splash. The Players' Championship. Coverage begins Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
You okay? I'm working like a dog. I run down to the print department, scan color documents, make color prints, run back, get approvals, run up to 5 and have to fax stuff all over the place. But I think I'm getting noticed. Is it rough by you too?
Not that rough.
What do you mean?
There's a color multifunction machine on my floor. I scan, copy, print, and fax and color from there. There's nothing to it.
Don't do this to me.
Xerox Color. It makes business sense.
Come on, come on.
There is Big Papi of Las Medias Rojas de Boston, and currently the cleanup hitter for the Dominican Republic national team in the World Baseball Classic. And there is Albert Pujols of the St. Louis Cardinals. So two of the greatest sluggers in the game today coming up here against Yadel Marti, the 21-year-old right-hander of Cuba. No score in the game, and a slider was in the dirt. He walked Pujols on 4 pitches back in the first inning, but now we're starting to see Marti's game evolve. He was very tentative, very cautious, and threw a lot of pitches in the first, and a little bit better in the second, and in the third inning, an 8-pitch inning.
Well, sometimes, John, I think we forget this is not just a baseball game. This is a big, big game for Marti and the rest of the players. I mean, this is not just another game. Very important game for your country. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't nervous. And when you're nervous, you have a tendency to want to throw off-speed pitches and keep the hitters off balance even more. And he was missing with them. Now you see him, he's mixing his pitches much better now. Although he's back to the middle of that lineup again. We'll see how he goes from here.
2-0 the count.
Change up.
At the knees, and it's 2-1. Now, I tell you what, pitching against this lineup, with Tejada, Pujols, Ortiz, Beltre, Alou, I think, a 10-year big league veteran would be a little bit nervous about facing these guys. Lazo, the right-hander, and Gonzalez, the left-hander. They've been up in every inning of this game, and both with their jackets on right now, but still up. They'll be ready at a moment's notice. And he swung at that one in the dirt, a slider. It's 2-2 now.
Well, we talked to Manny Acton. He was talking about the fact that, he thought his guys were going to start to make some adjustments. Well, you see them, they're still not making the adjustment at this point, of him pitching backwards and throwing breaking balls when he's behind in the count.
2-2 the count to Pujols. And that's in the dirt outside. 3-2.
Another breaking ball.
Cuba, nothing. Dominican Republic, nothing. Cuba, no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. The Dominican, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors up till now. The big sluggers are up right now. Pujols, Ortiz, Beltre, the first 3 due up in this inning.
And you can see what Actor was also talking about. See how he slows the game down? Marti slows the game down. Pujols was in the batter's box ready to hit, and he's just still standing out there taking his time.
3-2. And he
smart pitch.
Threw him an off-speed pitch and a pop-up. Gurriel had some trouble on one like that in the first inning, but not this time. 1 away. Peter Gammons is here with us. Let's go down to Peter on the field.
Well, John, I was talking to David Ortiz between innings, and he said he and Albert Pujols and several hitters are having a lot of trouble staying back against all the off-speed stuff that Marti's throwing. And the reason for that, they haven't played in 3 days. They've played 7 games in 12 days. They can take all the time in the cage they can, as Joe knows, but that doesn't allow you to get your timing. They don't have any rhythm.
Well, and that's an excellent point, and one that was echoed by the Team USA.
Well, I think it's a good point in that, it's more difficult to get your rhythm when you don't play for 2 or 3 days, especially when you're not playing in a 162-game season.
David Ortiz and a fastball over the outside corner. It's 0-1.
And what Peter was talking about is the off-speed pitches. And Pujols is a very good off-speed pitch hitter during the season, but you can see he's out in front. And when you get out in front on your front side, you're just swinging with your arms, and that's why he was unable to hit that ball hard. He was off balance.
Another fastball. That's away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the funny thing, John, when you talk about hitting, guys, Pujols is a very good off-speed hitter, right? He can hit anything. So can David Ortiz. But when you're facing a guy that's throwing you a lot of off-speed pitches, you have a tendency to start looking for them, and that changes your approach to hitting.
Now with the breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike to David Ortiz.
Because normally as a hitter, you look for the ball and you go hit it. You look for a fastball and you adjust off the fastball. That's the way you hit it. That's the way good hitters hit. But when you're looking for a breaking ball, you have a tendency to swing it some in the dirt and other times get out in front.
Oh, change up. 2-2. Man.
And again, he's behind in the count. He changes speeds. He threw Pujols sliders in that situation. He throws Ortiz, a left-handed hitter, the straight changeup. See, there's a straight changeup, and you can see it looks like a fastball out of his hand, and Ortiz is way out in front. Now watch this. He thinks it's a fastball right about now. No, it isn't. It's too late.
2-2 the count. And that's in the dirt. Another changeup. Now, he's kind of playing with these guys now.
Well, I think what he's trying to do, John, he's throwing just enough strikes to keep from walking them. That's what he's trying to do. When the hitters are a little more patient, he's going to walk them because he doesn't throw you 3 strikes every at bat.
They've got the shift down in the infield. 3 infielders to the right side against Ortiz. The third baseman's playing shortstop. Curveball. And there they've got it covered up. That's the shortstop, Parrett, and he throws out David Ortiz from the second base position.
Well, when they get everybody on the right side like that, they do this, of course, to Barry Bonds and some of the other hitters. you know, the pull hitters. I mean, there's not a lot of room in here. You got to hit the ball really hard to get it through there. This ball is just a normal ground ball. It wasn't hit that hard, so he had a chance to run over and run it down. I mean, if he hits the ball hard through there, you're not going to have time to go chase it.
So the play made there by Eduardo Perret, the veteran. He's 33 years old. He's been around for a long time in Cuban baseball. And here is Adrian Beltre. We were talking earlier about Beltre's fabulous year 2 years ago, and then it was not there for him last year in Seattle. But he feels like he's refound his swing over the winter. Seattle got a new hitting instructor, Jeff Pentland, and they've worked some this spring, and that is covered up at third base by Enriquez in the dirt. What a pickup at first base by Borrero. And that is the out. Beltre got robbed twice on that one. No score after 4 full innings. And as you get another look at that pickup at first by Borrero.
Okay, you never told me.
What was that?
Crunchy!
Guys, I got...
Want something crunchy?
Guys?
Taco Bell is open late. Feed your need for all the crunchy, grilled, marinated, spicy, and melty taste you can only get at Taco Bell. Want to spice up the night? Think outside the bun. Open till midnight or later.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you know what this light switch does?
Which one?
The one on the right.
I never used that one.
All right, will you look?
Yep.
On? Off. On?
No.
Well, are you looking?
Yes.
Off. On. Off. On. Off. On. Off. On. Off.
Life comes at you fast. When it does, nobody covers your car like Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
Need something? To find it locally, you need yellowpages.com.
Man, what's gotten into people lately?
Introducing Power Bar Triple Threat. It fuels like a power bar and tastes like a candy bar.
Taste, energy, nutrition.
One bite and you'll feel like you can take on anything. Power Bar. Be great.
Sports are great for a kid's body. Steroids aren't. They can ruin tendons in legs and arms. Steroids can stunt bone growth and increase the chances of liver cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Steroids don't make great athletes.
A called strike to the fifth place hitter, Frederic Cepeda. I beg your pardon, called a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to count to Cepeda, who had a sacrifice bunt his first time, but this is a clean single to center field this time for the 25-year-old.
And this is a really nice play. Now watch, he'll knock it down, but he hits his back foot right there and kicks it back in front of him. He picks it up and throws. Now look at this great play at first base by Borrero. And look at his foot. He's got it in the perfect position this time. And that's just an excellent play there. He actually catches the ball behind him. And when you look at Ivana, look at this. I mean, they're excited as they would be. Because, John, when I went there, we went there years ago. I mean, I'd never been around more excitable fans than I met there in Cuba. At the hot corner, it was great down there. These guys love baseball. They're great baseball fans in Cuba.
Joe stopped by
the Dominican.
Joe stopped by the Esquina Caliente, where they talk about and debate passionately baseball, and they knew all about you.
And everything about Major League Baseball. They're very knowledgeable fans.
So Cepeda is aboard, and now Osmani Urrutia, one of the best hitters in Cuba. A 447 average this year. He 4 times in the last 5 years finished the Cuban League season hitting over 400. He's won 5 straight batting titles. But this year, when they stopped the season to get ready for the tournament, he was number 2 in the league in hitting, 447. His national team teammate Enriquez leading the league. So he's had great success down there. Now the count is 0-1 to Urrutia. Look at his batting average, 431, 408, 421. A couple years ago, 469.
Had a bad year, though, in 204. Only hit 385.
I was very disappointing season.
Disappointing, yeah. Man.
And 447. So far this year, they play, what is about a 90-game season in the Cuban League, the Serie Nacional, they call it. And then about this time, the postseason would be getting started. We were there 7 years ago to cover the Baltimore Orioles game when they played down there against the Cuban team. And the final series, the Cuban version of the World Series, had just started in late March at that time. Did he swing? Yes, he did. First base umpire Tom Hallian on the appeal ruled it a swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, the toast of Esquina Caliente.
Oh, man, it was great. I loved it there. And again, I never met a group of more passionate fans than I did there in Cuba. And when I went to Puerto Rico, it was the same thing. Dominican, all these fans really love the game. The difference is the Dominican people can get a chance to see their players on the major league stage every day almost.
Yeah. 0-2 the count to Osmani Urrutia. And that's off the outside with a fastball. 2-1 the count now with Garlobo, another 400 hitter. On deck, Yoandre Garlobo. No score, top of the 5th inning. Now, when the Dominican faced Cuba the other day in San Juan last Monday, they took control of that game. They were ahead 7-0 after 6 innings and eventually won it by a final of 7-3. This could be 2. Polanco to Tejada, Tejada to Pujols, double play.
Good job by Colon to get him to reach out and hit the ground ball. That was kind of his sinking fastball, and he had him reaching out, and all he could do is hit the ground ball at second base. There you go. There's cute. Look at 2,215 miles away, John. Not that far. Closer to New York.
And there you were back in 1999.
Oh.
At the Esquina Caliente.
And these two guys were arguing about the Yankees. He had one good season. It was 19. That was fun, wasn't it? We had a great time in Cuba.
But, you know, actually, I mean, Joe found him to be very knowledgeable, but, I mean, they knew Joe, they knew the Big Red Machine. But the great thing was, Joe said, so you mean you knew Johnny Bench? And he says, Johnny Bench, never heard of him. That's a ball outside to Garlobo. You know, Joe, that was 7 years ago.
I was just thinking that was a long time ago.
You know, the Cuban weather looked like it was agreeing with you.
Yeah, it was great. I had a good time
right at home down there. Yeah. 2-0 the count to Garlobo. He hit a single his first time, but then got caught trying to steal, and he got himself another base hit right here. And Colon may have again gotten his glove on that one. So a runner at first, 2 down with Pestano coming up. And let's go down to our colleague Peter Gammons down near the Dominican Republic dugout.
Well, John, the Cuban team physician is Antonio Castro, who is Fidel's youngest son. He's a huge baseball fan, Yankee fan, but I had a long talk with him yesterday. He said a great thing. He said, what's wonderful about this tournament is it has nothing to do with politics. It's only about the brotherhood of baseball.
That's very well done. I agree with that 100%.
Here now is Pestano. And there is Antonio Castro, whom Peter was speaking about. Also the son of the El Presidente, Fidel Castro. On 1 the count to Pestano. The entire Cuban dugout, not just the team physician Antonio Castro, they're all standing up on the top step of the dugout here as their teammate Pestano is at the plate. Pistano, he's the one guy. We got 400 hitters, guys hitting 365 in the Cuban League season this year. He's not one of those big hitters. He's the guy who takes charge on the field. He runs that pitching staff. He runs that infield. He runs the game for Cuba on the field.
And John, that's why you call it a team. You need more than just sluggers. You need more than just defensive players. You have to have a combination of everything. And he is probably just as important to his team as one of the big sluggers because he handles the pitchers and he's the leader from behind the plate.
Pistano 0 for 1. That's a sharp foul. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes now.
And you mentioned Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench was more important than just the guy that hit home runs for the Big Red Machine. He was also the guy from behind the plate. He looked out, saw everything. He ran the show. So, I mean, catchers, great catchers can do that. And that's what you're talking about with Castillo, going to train catchers in the Dominican to be leaders and learn how to, become major league players. So I think that's great.
Pistano made the put out on an incredible play that saved that game against Puerto Rico the other night. And the strike 3, Pistano goes down, and that is the inning. 2 hits, 1 left. Bartolo Colon with 1 run in 13 innings allowed in this tournament. Moises Salud coming up.
Dude, we are so stoked.
One hell of a morning, dude. Let's rock, dude.
10-4.
Hey, dude, I think that dude wants you.
Well, that's just the pilot.
Dude, you're not the pilot?
No. I've never done this before. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
What is Budweiser? It's bright, the look of perfection. It's crisp, with ideal flavor. It's clean for a great finish. It's pure, made with the finest all-natural ingredients.
This is Budweiser. This is clean. Budweiser. This is Bud.
This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Sports are great for a kid's body. Steroids aren't. They can ruin tendons in legs and arms. Steroids can stunt bone growth and increase the chances of liver cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Steroids don't make great athletes. They destroy them. Talk to your kids. Need help? Get help. Visit drugfree.org.
Cuba nothing. The Dominican Republic nothing. Last of the 5th inning coming up now. The Dominican with only 2 hits so far against Yadel Marti. Here is the second game matchup tonight. Korea in the blue taking on Team Japan. That was the final out, and you saw Ichiro's reaction. And Jae-So, who's the starter tonight for Korea, planted that flag, which by some accounts was a source of irritation to the Japanese players. They are very bitter rivals. It is the Red Sox and the Yankees, the Giants and the Dodgers. You name a bitter rivalry, and it's every bit of that. And it's going to be the 3rd time they will have played in this tournament when they match up tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 Eastern time. And there's Moises Salud to lead it off for the Dominican, and a changeup from Yadel Marti, the 21-year-old right-hander, for ball 1. Alou struck out looking his first time. Willie Mo Pena and Alberto Castillo will follow here in the 5th inning. 0-0. This is a game that's resembling a little bit now the big matchup the other day down in San Juan between the Dominican and Venezuela. Shallow center field. The umpire got in the way, but the center fielder Ramirez made the play. The second base umpire Guccione got in the way of the second baseman Gurriel, and they actually collided out there.
Well, his pitch is a changeup in, and the umpire is looking at the center fielder. He is not looking at the second baseman. He doesn't know where the second baseman is, and he does run into him. Watch, he cuts him off right there. He actually bumps him, but good things happen for Cuba because the center fielder was taking charge.
And Chris Guccione, who's had some big league experience. He's one of the summer vacation relief umpires.
Well, it's up to the umpire to know where the players are as well as the players knowing where the umpire is.
Willie Mo Pena, base hit. Cut off in the alleyway there by Ramirez. And it is a single for Willie Mo Pena, who reached on an error by the left fielder Cepeda his first time. Hit number 3 for the Dominican.
Well, one thing you have to do when you're facing a guy that throws a lot of off-speed pitches, you have to make sure you see the ball before you move. Do not start your movement before you see the ball. And that way you will not be out in front of it. But if you start your movement with his arm motion, you're going to be out in front quite often. And I'm expecting the Dominicans to make those adjustments as we go along. And right there you saw Willie Mo Pena make the adjustment and wait on the off-speed pitch. Well, they've already made the call to the dugout, John, to the bullpen.
And so Lasso is coming in. No, he's not coming in. He's there.
Yeah.
There he is with his jacket on. And so
I like that.
Marti with a big hug for Lasso. We'll be back.
Colorful M&M's minis deep inside a creamy chocolate bar. Amazing. In peanut butter and crunchy. Ah, yes.
You're making a playlist for your girl?
Yeah, our favorite songs.
You guys like this one?
Maybe you could be mine again.
Yeah, we like that one.
With new Intel Centrino Duo mobile technology in your laptop, your digital entertainment really comes to life.
Cuba nothing. The Dominican Republic nothing. In San Diego, and a pitching change for Cuba, and there was Lasso, who came running in to relieve Yadel Marti, and Marti embraced him.
Well, you know what he did there? What it tells me is that Lasso's is saying, hey, you've done a great job to this point. Let me handle it from here. And I like that type of an attitude. And you can see that they're giving him a lot of welcome and not a lot of good love there coming off the field because he has done a great job.
And he got some love from Havana. A little Castillito in the youth center as they watch the ball game from down there. So Marti, I mean, you face this fearsome lineup in this game as big as this is, and you limit them to only 3 hits. They never got a runner past second base against him, and only one runner even got as far as second base against Marti in 4 1/3. So that just a great job for him.
Yeah. I think they're making a great move here, John. They're going from a guy who was finesse pitcher to a guy that can overpower you. And this is a guy that you can't go up there looking for off-speed pitches. You have to be ready to let it go.
So here is Alberto Castillo with Willie Mo Pena, the runner at first. And that one bounces in there, an off-speed pitch, 1 ball to no strike. Now, this has been a beautiful partnership at times in this series already, this partnership between Marti as a starter and Lasso coming on in relief. In the game against Venezuela last Sunday, Marti went the first 4 innings, no runs, 2 hits allowed. Lasso came in, went the last 5 innings. He got a 5-inning save in that one. There goes Pena. Did that one get Castillo? I guess not, but it's a steal for Willie Mo Pena.
And that was a fastball up and in. It's actually a perfect pitch to throw on, except it's a little too high. You want the pitch up, but it's too far inside. And a good throw by Pestano. He showed us that he can get rid of the ball and make good throws. Ball's way up and in. And he thought he had him at second base. Not quite.
So Alberto Castillo who struck out his first time against Marti. Now with a count of 2-0 and a base hit could knock in the first run of the game. Pena's a big, strong power hitter, but he runs pretty well, as you just saw. 2-0 the count. Lasso is inside, and now it is 3-0. Now he's a different kind of a pitcher than Marti. I mean, it's not unusual for him to light up that radar gun at upwards of 95, 96, 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's definitely a power pitcher.
And he's huge. Lasso listed at 6'3" and 190. But he looks taller than that out there in the mound. And that one is a changeup inside. So a walk to Castillo puts 2 men on with 1 man out. When he came in against Venezuela in the 5th inning last Sunday, Cuba was ahead 1-0 with 2 men on and nobody out. And then he messed up a bunt and the bases were loaded. And he got 2 fly ball outs, including Omar Vizquel of the Giants, and then a strikeout to end the inning against Carlos Guillen of the Detroit Tigers. So a great performance there. And by the time they did score against him, the Cubans had taken a nice sized lead, and Lasso went the rest of the way in that one. There's a bunt by Willie Taveras, and he was one of the best bunters as a rookie in the National League last year, bunting for base hits. But that one was not well placed, a pop-up foul, and the count is 0-1.
Well, the one thing that I noticed in the highlights we showed of Lasso is that his fastball was up. He was using the high fastball rather than getting the ball down, and he was successful in doing that. Well, that's the first time he's thrown a strike, or at least one that they'd attempted to swing at. He has been a little bit erratic with his first 4 pitches.
Taveras swings away and misses. Now it's 0-2. Taveras had a bunt single back in the 3rd inning. He was not even close to being a reliable RBI man with the Astros this year. This past season, only 29 RBIs in 592 official at-bats. He has not driven in a single run in the World Baseball Classic. Taveras, 3 hits in 20 at-bats total. 2 men on, 1 man out. And the slider a little bit low and outside for a ball.
Well, a lot of people will say if a guy hits close to 300, why doesn't he hit well with runners in scoring position? Well, the difference is they pitch you differently when you have the runner at second base. They use a lot of the plate inside outside, whereas if you're leading off, they don't want to walk you.
He lunged at that breaking ball and pops it foul off to the right and back out of play. A slider from Lasso, so it's hanging in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Taveras, batting with 1 out in the 5th inning of a scoreless game. Willie Pena, who singled at second base, and Alberto Castillo, who walked at first base.
And you can see the difference now. He's thrown him 2 sliders, 3 sliders. He may throw him another one. Whereas if Taveras is leading off the inning, they're not going to walk him, and they throw him a lot of fastballs. And that's why a guy's batting average is a lot better, you know, with no one on base than it is with runners in scoring position.
1-2. Back to the screen. It came after him, that might have been the pitch to hit.
Good fastball in, though. But and that's the reason that the Albert Pujolses, the Ortiz, the Manny Ramirez of the world are such great players, because they hit in those clutch situations, and they can handle all types of pitching, and they make adjustments to what the pitcher's doing to you.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Taveras. And the slider is off the outside. 2-2. Polanco, the leadoff man, is on deck. Taveras is ordinarily the leadoff man when he's playing for Houston. There's Polanco, number 2, on deck. And after Polanco, that's when all the big power hitters come up. Manny Acta, the manager, trying to bring home a championship to the Dominican Republic, which is just a great hotbed of baseball. I mean, their major league teams have 20 baseball academies in the Dominican. And the Dominican is not a very large country, that's for sure. An island nation dwarfed by the size of Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuba is an island nation, but much larger than the Dominican. But in the Dominican, there is such a rich pool of talent, and 20 of the 30 major league teams have all been trying to mine that talent by opening their own baseball academies down there. 2-2 the count. And again, he lunges at the slider and fouls it away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. In the Dominican, the Dodgers were a real pioneer down there. The Campo Las Palmas Baseball Academy. And they developed just a very large number of outstanding players, including the great Pedro Martinez, now at the Mets, and his older brother, Ramon Martinez, both coming out of the Dominican. This will be the 9th pitch of this battle between Lasso and Tavares. 2 men on. Ran that one inside. Now it's a full count.
Well, Tavares has done a great job here, John, after getting behind in the count, fighting off the slider away and taking the pitches off the plate inside. So he's done a great job just to keep this at bat alive. And John, you were talking about the academies. They just opened one in Compton a couple of weeks ago. I was privileged to be there with the commissioner and a lot of people when they opened the one in Compton, California.
Hopefully the start of more and more to come.
Exactly.
To try and develop some of that talent that exists in this country.
Correct.
2 men on with Pena at second, Castillo at first. Now you got a guy up there who's supposed to be more of a contact type hitter.
But
so
he does strike out a lot.
So you're not sending him?
I wouldn't send him. He hasn't had a good at bat swing at this, you know, and you got, again, you have Polanco on deck. Tavares is not going to hit into a lot of double plays, you know, unless he hits it right near the bag. So I don't know if the risk is worth the reward that you get for sending him.
They run. Strike 3. And it's a double play.
Bad play. I mean, the guy strikes out a lot. It's not worth it.
No score. On to the 6th inning.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play Take On Orbits. Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go. Done. Orbitz notifies anyone you're running late automatically. Introducing Orbitz TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbitz and go.
Right now, this Dell XPS multimedia powerhouse with Intel Vive technology featuring an Intel dual-core processor and a 19-inch flat panel can be yours for only $9.99. And for a limited time, qualified XPS customers pay no interest for 18 months. XPS, the ultimate Dell PC.
Your life will change. Families will grow. A gifted child will need an exceptional education. 4 friends will become 4 tycoons. Widows will go on. Partnerships will be offered. Leaps of faith will be taken. Fears will be overcome. The unobtainable will be found, and roles will be reversed. At moments like these, you need powerful resources, both financial and personal. A partner who knows you and what matters to you. At Merrill Lynch, our financial advisors know that in a world full of change, there is something beyond just achieving wealth. It is achieving life. Total living. Total Merrill.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Merrill Lynch. True wealth is about more than money. Total living, total Merrill. And MLB 06 The Show, now available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable.
It's the World Baseball Classic. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. We're joined by Peter Gammons and Jose Mota down in the field. And we have another game shaping up as a classic. There have been a lot of them in this classic. There's a bunt, and it spins foul off the bat of Alexei Ramirez. No score into the 6th inning here. Another double play turned by Cuba.
And John, they've executed 6 double plays in their last 9 innings, but they got a lot of help here. You can see that's an easy strike them out, throw them out there. And you can see how they get excited there in Havana. They've squelched another uprising by the Dominican Republic. And remember, to get a lot of double plays, you have to have a lot of runners on base. So they've been getting a lot of runners on base against them, but they're getting out of the jams by completing the double plays.
And there's a ball outside. Ortiz hit an inning-ending double play grounder in the first. Polanco grounded into a double play in the third. Now a strikeout into a double play in the fifth inning. They turned 3 double plays in the last 4 innings in that breathlessly exciting game against Puerto Rico the other night in San Juan. I mean, Puerto Rico just kept coming after him and coming after him and coming after him, and they were turning double plays. They made that spectacular defensive play. I mean, there have been a lot of great plays in this tournament, but none greater than the one turned in by Gurriel and the catcher Pestano to get Pudge Rodriguez at the plate and saving the tying run there, keeping that 1-run lead. I mean, it was on a rainy field, and Gurriel just made an amazing throw, and Pestano did the rest at the plate to save that one. That was in addition to the 3 double plays they turned in the final 4 innings of that game. No score in the 6th. Bartolo Colon facing the 9th place hitter. Not quite that time. It is 3-2. The leadoff man, Eduardo Perret, is on deck, and then Michel Enriquez, one of the 400 hitters, due up 3rd in the inning.
Well, he started the inning, Colon started the inning with 57 pitches, and Acta said he wanted 80 quality pitches.
Wow, that fastball ran up and in, and it was just socked foul by Ramirez. We were talking about that play by Gurriel, the great throw the other night on a rainy field. Alexei Ramirez was the center fielder. Beltran got the base hit, and on the wet going, he fumbled it. Now watch Gurriel with a wet baseball. And Pestano got the put out at the plate.
There were 2 perfect throws there. Even though he bobbled the ball in right field, he made a perfect throw to Gurriel, who made a perfect throw to Pestano.
Battling the sun that time in that high bouncer. Beltran throws out Ramirez, 1 away in the 6th. Ramirez is now 1 for 2 in the game. Here's the Taco Bell pitching summary now. Brought to you by Taco Bell. 4 1/3 for Yadel Marti. 65 innings pitched, no runs, and 3 hits allowed. A very fine performance in a huge game. Bartolo Colon, Cy Young winner of the American League last year. Now at 64 pitches, 5 1/3 innings, no runs, 5 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts, and significantly no walks. Time was when Colon would walk a lot of guys.
You know what was interesting about that setup there is that Marti only walked 1 guy. And if you didn't know that, you'd think that he was 3-2 to every hitter. You would think that he had walked more than that. In fact, I think he did. Didn't he walk Ortiz and Pujols back to back? No, he got Ortiz out. You're right.
Oh, now I thought that ball might have gone foul, but Beltran thought he'd try the barehanded pickup, and Perret has himself a bag. We'll see whether they score it as a hit or an error.
Well, I think that has to be a base hit. Now, the reason that he grabbed this, John, the ball's not bunted slowly. Now watch this. This ball is bunted sharply down the line. If he lets that ball go by him and it doesn't hit the bag, I mean, it hits the bag, look at that. It's going to be a easy double down there. So it's not as bad a play as, it might appear. See, that ball's rolling very sharply. If he lets it go and it hits the bag, it's going to be a double instead of a single. See, the ball's rolling very sharply. Going to be a double, not a single if he lets it go. So this way he plays it into a single anyway.
And Perret is the only Cuban base runner to get a stolen base in this tournament. So he has 3 steals, and we'll see if he's looking to steal a bag here. Michel Enriquez, the league's leading hitter in the Serie Nacional, the Cuban regular season so far this year, hitting .448 today. Though he has grounded to short and grounded out to third, 0 for 2. Enriquez with Yulieski, Gurriel on deck. No score in the 6th inning. The Dominican Republic's bullpen is busy here in the 6th inning. We were told this would be the final inning no matter how many pitches he threw. Here is Solomon Torres, the right-hander, and Odalis Perez, the left-hander warming up for the Dominican. Enriquez at the plate. 0-0 in the 6th inning. And the Dominican clinched its berth here in the Final Four. They did so beating a very talented Venezuela team. And the final score in that game was 2-1. What a classic that was. Great pitching, great defense. And here they are in another one of those kind of games against Team Cuba. The middle infield double play down. And a pitch out. But Perret was not running.
That was, watch that play again, John. That was a pitch out, but he went too quickly. It was like a slide step. You can't steal a base on a slide step. So if you're going to pitch out, you go ahead with your natural rhythm and throw the ball, and then you let the runner go and you throw him out. But if you do a slide step, he can't get a jump. It's basically just a wasted pitch.
Colon with a throw to first, and just back in time was Perret, and that was a quick throw there by Colon. He almost got him.
Well, Colon has a quick move to first base, plus he has a quick move to the plate when he goes with his slide step, so it's very difficult to steal a base if he's concentrating on keeping you from going.
Well, that could slow him down a little bit too, that kind of a move. He's running.
Yeah, but he got plenty of time
Castillo,
to throw him out.
and he's out by 10 feet at second base.
And again, see Colon delivered the ball to the plate very quickly, and he had no chance. You have to give that to Colon. A lot of times they're talking about you steal a base on the pitcher. Look at this. The catcher's got the ball. He's not even halfway to second base. I mean, he can just flip it down there, and he's got plenty of time to throw him out. So give Colon that caught stealing.
Jose Mota's down by the Cuban dugout on the field. Jose?
Great example, Bartolo Colon in that slide step. Also, he uses it to throw off the balance of a hitter as a quick pitch pit.
In right field, Pena, that is the inning. Gurriel is stranded on deck. 6 shutout innings for Colon. The top of the order coming up for the Dominican.
Hey, man, that car is off the hook.
I like classics made modern. What's that? It's Crunchwrap Supreme. All the classic Taco Bell taste grilled up, so it's good to go.
The Crunchwrap Supreme is back. Beefy, melty, crunchy, cool, classic Taco Bell taste loaded into a flour tortilla and grilled for maximum portability. For classic Taco Bell tastes that are good to go, think outside the bun.
It's every ball player's dream to play in the majors. Finally got my call with Boston in '04.
Tim Casey was a journeyman, and he got a cup of coffee for about 10 days and then had to go back.
10 best days of my life. This is a picture of me in the show with Poppy.
I don't remember Tim Casey.
The towels in the show are so absorbent. These guys love to hear stories about the show. You can get flat water, you can get sparkling water, you can mix them together if you want.
Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
You know what I mean, right?
The Clark family has reported earnings 30% higher than expected.
Also ending higher yesterday, the Walker family at 12 1/4.
Think about your family and yourself as a company with assets to protect and grow, a financial future to be managed.
So what do you think about the Burns family?
Positive cash flow and a conservative balance sheet. And so you have to plan, chart a course. At John Hancock, we now offer a wider range of innovative investment opportunities, giving you access to some of the world's best companies.
The Martin family.
The Martin family has opened for trading in Hong Kong.
For the benefit of the most important one.
And finally, the Peterson family ended the day on a positive note.
The new John Hancock. Investments for the opportunities. Insurance for the unexpected.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hey, isn't it nice that you don't have to watch the same movie as everybody else?
Yeah.
Let's watch a movie.
With new Intel Centrino Duo mobile technology in your laptop, your digital entertainment really comes to life.
Bartolo Colon, 6 shutout innings for his Dominican Republic team, but he does not have the lead despite that great pitching. It is 0-0. The semifinals, the Final Four of the World Baseball Classic, Cuba and the Dominican tonight. Korea and Japan. Up the middle. Off the glove with a diving Gurriel, and it's a base hit for Polanco. His first hit of the game.
Not that he would have gotten a base hit, but he's been swinging the bat well. That's why I didn't like that strike him out, throw him out to end last inning. I mean, he's been swinging the bat well.
Gurriel, you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about last inning they threw out with Polanco on deck. Remember the double play?
Okay.
But
that throw out.
Yeah, that throw out. But right here you see Gurriel try to come up with it. I would have liked to have seen him catch it. I don't know what he's going to do with it with Polanco running, but I would have liked to see him try something because he does have a lot of ability.
So Polanco is aboard. Now the power comes up, and Lasso with that throw to first. Polanco dives back in. Nothing to nothing. Tejada, Pujols, Ortiz, 3 power hitters. The next 3 hitters due up. The Cuban bullpen. It's almost redundant to say the bullpen's busy, but we should actually alert you when it's not busy. Well, John, it's always busy.
John, we'll see how important this game might be to the Dominican right here. Do you bunt with Miguel Tejada, a former MVP, the guy that's driven in 150 runs in his career, you know, in 1 year? Do you bunt or do you let him swing away? Do you hit and run? What do you do here? Well, he's not going to bunt.
Well, I mean, when's the last time he bunted?
Right, but I'm just the other point is, I mean, you're in a tie ball game in the 6th inning. What do? You
get Pujols and Ortiz coming up next.
Right.
2 great sluggers.
And the point is, you've been kind of waiting for this team to explode all day, and it's not happening.
Maya, the right-hander, up for the first time. And Norberto Gonzalez, who's been up in every inning since the first inning. The left-hander down there. That is foul on the third base side past Alfredo Griffin.
Now, I guess I'm going to answer my own question. I wouldn't have Tejada bunt, but I'm just throwing it out there for fans that might think about that, or, you know, some of the people in the Dominican. See, I'm a big Miguel Tejada fan, so I think that he can get the job done here. He'll figure it out. I mean, this is a big at-bat for him, and the guy's a good clutch player, so I would let him hit. But I'm just saying a lot of people might think, what do you do here? Do you bunt? And a lot of people are talking about the difference in these ball clubs fundamentally, that some teams bunt, others do not. You know what the difference is? Some guys get hits in clutch situations, the others aren't. That's the only difference.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Well, and some guys, I mean, like a couple of times this past week we saw Michael Young in a bunt situation try to get a bunt down. One time he bunted into a force play. The other time he didn't get the bunt down, and the runner at second got picked off.
So your point is you can't ask them to do something that they're not accustomed to doing.
Michael Young, how often does he get asked to bunt in the American League with that slugging Texas club?
Yeah.
Tejada squibs one, right field, base hit. Around second, Polanco, he'll go to third. As Urrutia, the right fielder, comes up with it. And they have set the table nicely now for the Pujols, Ortiz, Beltre, the slugging trio coming up next. First and third, nobody out.
See, that's why I wouldn't have him bunt. He gets a base hit anyway, and he gets the job done. I mean, this is not your normal Tejada base hit, but he gets the job done. He hits it off the end of the bat, and it goes right over the second baseman's head in the right field. And you can see the reason it gets out there and gets away from Gurriel is because he was playing towards second base for the double play.
So now first and third, and they're going to conference out of the mound. There is Tejada, his second hit of the game. And you got Albert Pujols. I mean, you got 2 of the best, most productive hitters on the planet coming up as the next 2 hitters here. And we, you know, when we talk about great hitters, we talk about Major League Baseball all the time. But one thing we've learned during this tournament, there are a lot of great players all around the world.
Yeah, you're right.
And we'll see a lot of them tonight when the undefeated team from South Korea, they have not lost a single game. They're the only unbeaten team in this tournament. Even the Dominican lost 1 game earlier on. But they'll be taking on Team Japan. That'll be tonight at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Now, so far today, mostly Yadel Marti, the starting pitcher, has shut down these big sluggers, Pujols, Ortiz, Beltre, and Alou. They are 0 for 7. And that's a ball outside. Pujols has walked and popped out. Ortiz has hit a double play and a ground out. Beltre has flied out and grounded out. Alou has struck out and flied out.
but you're also facing a more typical type pitcher that you face, see?
That ball is belted down the left field line into the corner. It is a foul ball.
And you see the difference, the aggressiveness right there of Albert Pujols. Now you're facing the guys that you're normally, a pitcher that you're normally used to facing. A guy that might overpower you, but he also has a slider or other pitches. Whereas with Marti, he was trying to keep you off balance with a lot of off-speed pitches. So this works in the Dominican public's favor right now.
And the Dominican will give away a run in exchange for a double play. They've got the middle infield back for the double play here, because this is the part of the lineup where this could become a big inning in a hurry. 1-1. Pujols. Well, he's going to go home from third base. He was pulled in. Polanco on a run down. He's tagged out.
Man, things are happening perfectly for the Cubans in the last few innings. I mean, in that they get a double play situation, they make the double play. They get a situation there where they're playing in a perfect position where he could come home as well as go to make the double play. I mean, and the point is, if Pujols hits that ball to shortstop, it's a double play and you score a run. Fastball away, he actually tries to pull it, and you see he does pull it, and a nice throw to the plate there by Enriquez, and then he tags him, and they do not allow anyone to move up. That was the point. He tried to stand. He was going to try to stay in the hot box long enough to give Tejada a chance to move over to third base, but he couldn't stay in it long enough. Nice play there in the rundown by Cuba.
Man, that'd be a good teaching video right there.
Right. They completed it very quickly.
Here's David Ortiz in a mighty cut. He didn't get it. It's 0-1. So now Tejada at second. Pujols at first. The middle infielders were set for the double play, but the third baseman was pulled in. And I'm sure those were instructions from the dugout.
Right.
If you get one, you go after that runner rather than starting a double play. Now a double play gets him out of the inning with no runs scored. That slider low and inside. The clouds have covered up the sun. No score, sixth inning. Ortiz has hit an inning-ending double play with 2 men on and 1 man out in the first, and he grounded a short with the bases empty in the fourth.
The ground ball to shortstop was on the second base side, but they had the shortstop Perret playing over on the second base side. He's right behind second base now.
Changed up on him now. 1-2 the count. He's using that excitement against Ortiz. I think he's using it against him right now.
Here's the release, and it's interesting there. He gets his arm pretty much away from his body there, which is not a normal delivery motion. But it looked like he stepped across a little bit to get a little more extension, but he did throw him a changeup from that position, which is something, if you're the hitter, you can see when his arm goes that far away from his body, it's going to be a changeup.
So the crowd now, and a lot of fans of the Dominican Republic in attendance. They got their big man up. They got things set up nicely here, but he's behind in the count. Lasso. Ooh, that was awfully close.
Well, I tell you what, Pastano, look at the reaction in the Cuban dugout. Pastano thought it was a good pitch. Let's take a look and see if, yes, you're right, John. It's the first time you've been right all year. You've been correct in this. It's our initial broadcast together. You're right there.
I'm glad to see we finally fixed K-zone.
Yeah.
2-2 the count. Tejada at second. Pujols at first. Moises Alou in the hole with Beltre on deck. Pedro Lasso in a jam. 32-year-old veteran of the Cuban leagues. Changeup. And they might get 2 on this one. Perret to second. Gurriel back to first. Not in time, and that would have been almost a miracle if they turned that one, because Gurriel was, what, 40 feet away from second base when that ball was hit. They were not in really a double play mode there for the ground ball to short, but he still had a shot at it.
Well, when I looked at the positioning, I was saying they could not make a double play if the ball was hit to the left side of second base. But Gurriel came across, and I actually didn't think he should have thrown the ball, because the only thing he can do is throw away. But guess what? He has so much confidence in his ability that he comes across and makes the throw.
And that Borrero at first base, I think,
can pick it.
He, I think, gives them a little confidence that whatever happens, he's going to somehow save any problems over there at first base. Pickett, that's right.
Yeah.
And he picked that one too. Here is Beltre. Runners at first and third, 2 down. Cuba trying to weather this storm. The Dominican sending its best sluggers up there with men on base, but they have not been able to break through yet. No score in the game. Oh, the breaking ball tantalized him with it. 1 ball, 1 strike. A mighty cut by Beltre. Got nothing but air.
But the one thing you see with the Dominicans against Lazos is that they are more aggressive in their swings. Before they were kind of tentative. They're more aggressive. See Odalis Perez throwing in the pen. He will be coming in, I'm sure, because Colon is close to his 80 pitches they wanted him to throw.
That slider popped up foul behind the plate. Pestano goes back, but it is in amongst the spectators, out of play. 1-2 the count. You saw Odalis Perez, as Joe mentioned, warming up in the bullpen, and we'll likely see him. Peter Gammons, sitting down by the Cuban dugout, had some information for us down there in regards to Colon. Now a new ball will go out to Lasso. And you see that entire Cuban ball club again up on the top step of the dugout, rooting their teammates on. One and two the count to Beltre. Pedro Lasso. He came into the game in a jam in the 5th inning and got through it. That ball right to Gurriel. He bobbles the ball, picks it up, and he throws it away. A run has scored. Tejada scores, and over to third base is Ortiz. Beltre into second base on what looked like just a regular ground ball, and the inning over, and a critical error by the young Gurriel, and the Dominican has gone ahead 1-0.
Well, he did everything right up until the point he threw the ball. He got in front of it, knocked it down, but he had more time than he anticipated. Now watch, he can get up and throw the ball to first base if he wants, but he doesn't do that. Right there, just get up, pick it up, get up and throw it. See, he didn't look. He got it and threw it right before. Watch, he just throws the ball. He doesn't take his time and fire the ball. He's got a great arm. He could have still probably gotten Beltre, but he just kind of released it out of his hand and slipped out of his hand. But that's, as you said, he's a young player.
Now Moises Alou off the end of the bat, a slow tap. Gurriel gets another shot at it and handles this one successfully, but an unearned run on what is scored as a double error against Gurriel. On to the 7th. And a new pitcher coming in. Odalis Perez, 1-0 Dominican.
Good morning, Gary. I'm Jim's new Verizon wireless razor phone, and I am so thin and awesome. I come with VCast, so Jim can download music videos and movie trailers and sports clips.
I get it. Jim's cool.
Thank you.
There's the Razor, then there's the VCast Razor. Verizon Wireless has the latest in entertainment on the coolest phone. Buy one for $99, get a second one free.
Where's your phone?
My phone's at home.
Because he's lame.
Verizon Wireless, it's the network.
Lately. Introducing Power Bar Triple Threat. It fuels like a power bar and tastes like a candy bar.
Taste, energy, nutrition.
One bite and you'll feel like you can take on anything. Power Bar. Be great.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. It's your one-of-a-kind one-stop shop for everything from performance parts to cool custom accessories.
We try to do a lot of things before we succeed. That's why we keep trying. Maybe all the times you tried to quit smoking before were just practice. Maybe you just needed the right help. Like the Commit Stop Smoking Lozenge. Commit is proven to help even those smokers who've tried to quit before. Commit works fast to help control cravings, and it keeps working even after the lozenge is gone. The 4-milligram Commit lozenge actually doubles your chances of quitting. The Commit lozenge. Real help, real hope.
Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. We're at Petco Park in San Diego. It's the Final Four of the first World Baseball Classic, and we've got in Game 1 Cuba and the Dominican Republic, the two baseball powers from the Caribbean, and it is 1-0, an unearned run there for the Dominican to take the lead in this one against Cuba. And then later tonight, Korea and Japan will face off in the other semifinal game, and one of those teams will face the winner of this game on Monday night. Here is Odalis Perez, and a slider in the dirt from the veteran left-hander to Yulieski Gurriel, who would like to atone for a mistake, a wild throw after booting the ground ball initially, and they charge him with 2 errors on the play. And the Dominican, by virtue of the bobble and the wild throw, have a 1-0 lead. Odalis Perez. Now the Cubans at least have seen Perez. He started against them earlier this week in the other matchup between the clubs. That's right along the third base line. Beltran, nice pickup. Low throw, and Pujols cannot handle it. And Gurriel showing great speed in a twinkling of an eye is at second base.
I mean, that he just made up his mind as soon as that ball got away from Pujols that he was going to second base. And Beltran goes down on his knees to get it, and then he comes up and he doesn't make the accurate throw. Remember, he's got to. So he gets up, he has time, but he sidearms it and it sinks. And a nice attempt there by Pujols just to come up with it. But here's Gurriel as he just gets out of there. He's hustling. Boom, he sees the ball, gets away, and quickly he heads for second base.
So Gurriel gets credit for a hit, an infield hit, plus a throwing error by Beltran. So he's at second base with nobody out. The cleanup hitter, Ariel Borrero, coming up, hitting .344 this year in the Cuban League. 1-0. The Dominican leading. Bartolo Colon, 6 shutout innings, no runs, 6 hits allowed. And we're going to get a pinch hitter for Team Cuba here for
Borrero. Sanchez is going to pinch hit for Borrero.
Elier Sanchez plays for Sancti Spiritus, and Elier 0 for 2 so far, so he had not played much in this series. So maybe they're looking for him to get the bunt down because he's pinch hitting for the cleanup hitter.
Right, I would think that they're going to bunt. If you're going to pinch hit for the cleanup hitter, I think you're going to bunt.
With Cepeda due up next. Runner at second, nobody out. Beltran pulls in a bit at third. He swings away, a mighty cut. So he did everything but bunt on that one. And he tried to launch that one.
Well, you're looking first pitch fastball, and it wasn't. It looked like it was a little slider or something from Odalis Perez, and that's why Acta said he was successful last time. He threw a lot of off-speed pitches early in the count against these aggressive hitters.
Not bunting here either. But a slow tap, that'll get it done if it stays fair. And it does. An infield hit for Sanchez.
Well, he did bunt. It was just a swinging bunt, but he gets the job done. And that's the difference between the other ball that went down to third base. Beltran could let this one go and hope it would roll foul because it's not going to go past the bag and, you know, be an extra base hit. But you can see it clearly even takes a turn back toward the infield and away from foul territory.
Well, here is Frederic Cepeda. He's had a sacrifice bunt and he is single to center. Runners at first and third. Nobody out. 1-0 Dominican. Double play depth up the middle. And that's a little bit low. 1 ball and no strike. Now, you go back to that 6th inning. The Dominican had runners at first and third. Nobody out. Pujols, Ortiz, Beltran, Alou coming up. And none of those 4 great sluggers even got the ball out of the infield against Pedro Lasso. Rudy Reyes is the pinch runner, number 11, going in at first base for Sanchez. So Sanchez got it done, so he runs down to the bullpen. Now he's one of the catchers on Team Cuba. Runners at first and third. Reyes, the runner at first. And that's a foul.
Man. I mean, they're taking some hefty cuts here against the left-handed pitcher.
This is the 7th inning. 1-0 Dominican. Here's that cut you're talking about, Joe.
Yeah, they're not. He's not just trying to put the ball in play right there.
He's trying to put it in play out into the Western Metal Supply Company building. Heads up out there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now breaking for second is Reyes, and he'll make it easily. The ball hit off the glove of Castillo. And suddenly, the Dominicans having a hard time holding on to the ball.
Yeah.
That may well be a pass ball.
I think it has to be. I mean, the ball was up. It was over the plate. It was just up. And it bounces out of Castillo's glove. And now that takes the double play out of order. And what you're trying to do if you were Dominican, just get out of this inning. Hopefully get a ground ball. Even if you let the tying run score, you would be out of the jam, so to speak.
Nobody out. Cepeda the hitter. That's a foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes with Urrutia, one of the top hitters in Cuba. On deck, Osmani Urrutia, number 46, hitting .447 this year. Now Perez might be wondering what's going on out here. He got a ground ball to third, an error. And then he got a guy to hit one so poorly that it turned into an infield hit. The ball went about 60 feet. On the fist, he jammed him. Nice fastball there. Fouled out of play. 2-2 to Cepeda. Then a pass ball. So he's pitching great, but you got nothing to show for it other than 2 base runners in scoring position and nobody out. Yadel Perez, who went 4 2/3 innings against Cuba last Monday as a starting pitcher, gave up no runs and 3 hits in that game, which the Dominicans won 7-3 ultimately. Now Perez in this one picking up for Colon in relief. 2-2. Change up, a check swing, that'll get the run home. Another poorly hit ground ball, and it's an extremely productive out for Cepeda. He gets the RBI and also moves Reyes over to third base. It is 1-1.
And that's the worst thing that could have happened if you were Dominican. If he hits a ground ball to shortstop, it would have kept the runner from moving over to third base with less than 2 outs. But he does a great job of just hitting behind the runners, and he scores one and brings one in. I think this is the most misunderstood situation in all of the game to hit in. If you can hit the ball to the right side, you move the other runner into scoring position and you tie the score. So great job there.
There was Antonio Castro, the team doctor in the dugout, reacting. And in Havana, El Castillito, they are very excited. Team Cuba has finally broken through for a run. Now the Dominican with a pitching change. Solomon Torres coming in.
What's gotten into people lately?
Introducing Power Bar Triple Threat. It fuels like a power bar and tastes like a candy bar.
Taste, energy, nutrition.
One bite and you'll feel like you can take on anything. Power Bar. Be great.
With MLB06 The Show, you can be king of the diamond. Get drafted with career mode to play for your favorite team, where your skills will earn you a spot on a major league roster or keep you in the minors. The new season mode tests your commitment with multiple seasons and lets you build your dynasty. It's time to play ball. Welcome to the show. MLB06 The Show on the PSP system, available now at Walmart. Rated E for everyone. Walmart.
What's that? Rabbit food? Business casual slacks? Chintz pillows? No more. Time to be a man again. And it starts in the shower. This gets you clean.
And it doesn't dry your skin.
Not dry. Nice.
And it looks like an oil can.
New Dial for Men body wash. Be a man. Take back the shower.
Cuba won. The Dominican Republic won. Defensive miscues figuring in each of the runs for these two ball clubs. And playing the ball game to the rhythm.
Hey, they're partying.
Of the Caribbean, it seems, there for the moment. There's Solomon Torres, Pittsburgh Pirates right-handed reliever. An oft-used one. On in relief of Odalis Perez with a runner at third. And only one out, and Urrutia coming up. And let's go down to our colleague, Jose Mota, near the Cuban dugout. Jose.
Yulevsky Gurriel makes two costly errors. What happens? The teammates rally behind him, but when he scores, his manager, Eugenio Velez, says, son, that's the way you make up for it. Way to run the bases.
There's the error he committed, allowing the Dominican run.
And there's his second error by overthrowing first base.
That was with two down on a ground ball hit by Adrian Beltre.
The first error was allowing the runner to reach first. The second error was for allowing everyone else to move up another base.
So now here is Osmani Urrutia, 447 hitter, 13 home runs this year. But today he's hit into two double plays.
Well, they're playing the
infield in. That's right, and right through the drawn-in infield. A base hit. First ball swinging, coming in to score is Reyes, and Cuba, for the first time today, for the first time in this tournament, has a lead against the Dominican Republic.
Well, the one thing that Acta told us that they were aggressive hitters. So the first pitch that Solomon Torres throws, he hits a ground ball right back through the middle for a base hit. And with the infield drawn in, as you can see, no chance for anything in here to be caught. And this is not a sharply hit ground ball. In fact, Torres falls off to the first base side, and it just goes right through for a bit. And you can see they're very excited. From being down a moment ago, now they have a one-run lead.
And they're going nuts down in Havana at El Castillito at the youth center. Just about everybody apparently down in Cuba today is indoors near a TV. Now a pinch runner at first base, Carlos Tavares. He goes, and a hit and run play. And Garlobo fouls one. Yoandre Garlobo broke his bat on that. We almost threw the bat at that one. And back to first is Tavares, the pinch runner. So Garlobo 2 for 2 in this game, hitting .409 in the regular season down in Cuba. So Urrutia is out of the game, and the pinch runner has come on for him. The second pinch runner used. This is Carlos Tavares. We're talking about everybody being indoors down in Cuba today. We're surmising. And then there's the live shot from down in Havana, the streets of Havana from El Castillito. And not many people out there, Joe.
No, it looks like a still picture, doesn't it? No one moving.
And some fans from Cuba we can hear in the ballpark now chanting Cuba, Cuba. Garlobo standing in. One strike the count, and back to the bag is Tavares. Pujols on the bag with him. In this game, even as the Dominican was scoring a run in the sixth inning, the game seemed to be turning in Cuba's favor.
Yeah.
Because they were poised for a big inning. First and third, nobody out, and all their big sluggers out. And they only got one run. There goes Tavares, and that one is fouled by Garlobo, and Tavares will have to go back to first. But they only got the one run, and that was a gift. But I mean, all the four guys that came up with runners at first and third and nobody out to begin with, the next four hitters had 413 RBIs last year. And none of them could get the ball out of the infield.
And the thing I thought was in their favor also, John, they were facing a more major league-like pitcher, meaning a guy Lassos who would throw you the fastball, throw the hard slider, and that they would, be a little bit more aggressive. Because Marti had kept them off balance completely, but, they just weren't able to get the job done. And again, that's the difference in this whole series, the 16-game, 16-team series. Who's hitting in the clutch, who's driving in the runs, and that's been the problem, on a consistent basis. And again, when I talked to Manny Acta today, I asked him, I said, what's been the most surprising thing in this whole, World Baseball Classic for you? He said the quality of pitching around the world. He was talking about all the pitchers that he had seen. They could all pitch backwards. They could all throw hard enough to keep you off balance, and they all knew what they were doing.
0-2 the count. They pitch out. Tavares, he had taken a step towards second and then stopped, and he's back to the bag at first.
Well, that's more of a normal pitch out. I don't think he was going. That's why he wasn't caught. By that I mean he didn't slide step and get rid of the ball very quickly.
Tavares, the runner at first. Only one out, 2 runs in for Cuba. Bartolo with Pistano on deck. There goes the runner. The ball is blooped into shallow left center field. That's going to be a base hit. Tavares didn't pick it up initially, but nonetheless was able to go to third easily as Alou gets it back in.
Well, the Cubans are playing their game now, John. They're hitting and running. They're doing everything. And again, that's the way they play a little bit of all-around baseball. Hit and run. And a good pitch by Solomon Torres. Ball's down and in. He bloops it into left center. And now the Cubans have runners at first and third. And 1 out.
2-1, Cuba leading. There is Garlobo. Garlobo has been kind of a revelation in this series, although I don't know how much of a revelation he could be since he was hitting .409 in the regular season in Cuba. But in this tournament, he is now 11 for 20, a .550 batting average.
And 3 for 3 today.
Yeah. In the big game.
Exactly, in the big game, on the big stage.
You know, you're talking about Lasso as the Dominicans talk it over on the mound. But Lasso got out of that great jam in the 6th inning so beautifully against the biggest hitters. You saw Julian Tavares warming up in the bullpen now for the Dominican. But you know, he did something similar when he came into that ball game last Sunday against Venezuela. He inherited a jam and got through it against a very talented Venezuela team. So he repeated that story here today against the Dominican. Now Manny Octa is coming out. You've got Tavares, who's a sinker ball pitcher. And he needs a ground ball right now to get the double play, just get out of this inning. So Manny Octa is going to go for the veteran Julian Tavares in relief of Solomon Torres. 2-1 Cuba. We'll be back.
There's a place where the show never ends, where jazz greats sit in with punk geniuses, where big names open for no names, where the man in black shares the stage with some kid from the village, where every seat is front row, every note perfect, and every song is dedicated to you. #1 site for independent music. Now, get 25 free iPod compatible downloads just for trying us out.
1, 2, 3. The way I look at this, guys, we can match their effort. It takes heart and pride on every possession. Or we can just kick down the door. Are you ready? Yeah! Are you ready?
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship continues through April 4th on ESPN, presented by Orbitz.
It's win and you're in. Undefeated Korea looks to knock off rival Japan and advance to the championship.
Oh, what a catch!
The World Baseball Classic semifinals, Japan-Korea, tonight at 10 on ESPN and ESPN Deportes.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you know what this light switch does?
Which one?
The one on the right.
I never used that one.
All right, will you look?
Yep.
On? Off. On?
No.
Are you looking?
Yes.
Off. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off.
Life comes at you fast. When it does, nobody covers your car like Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
It's the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. And in the semifinal, the All-Caribbean semifinal, Team Cuba 2. The Dominican Republic 1, and Cuba threatening to lengthen that lead here with runners at first and third and only 1 out in the 7th inning. I'm John Miller, along with Joe Morgan and our colleagues down in the field, Jose Mota near the Cuban dugout and Peter Gammons by the Dominican dugout. And there is Julian Tavares, veteran right-hander last year with the Cardinals, in 74 games. And he's a hard-throwing sinker baller, and they need a ground ball right now, Joe.
Well, you're right. I mean, Tavares is a good sinker ball pitcher, and it's hard to get his ball in the air. So they're trying to. It looks like they're going to play halfway. I'm not sure yet. They haven't positioned themselves yet. If they're going to play completely for a double play here, or if they're going to come halfway. You want to be in a position where they're going to be halfway, I would think, so you can come home if you have to. But
and the advantage they have is it's the catcher Pestano who's the hitter.
Well, they're not playing. They're playing for a double play because a ground ball is shortstop. I'm not sure. I don't think Tejada can come to the plate with it.
Tavares bluffs toward third. The runner at third is Tavares of the Cuban team. Tavares, the pitcher now for the Dominican, and Garlobo, the runner at first base, with Pujols on the bag with him. They got to keep an eye on Garlobo to keep this double play in order.
Well, I'm looking at Polanco at second base. There's no way he can come to the plate on a ground ball. So they're playing for a double play.
Tavares holding a long while, and finally timeout is asked for and granted at the plate. Pestano backs away. He looks over at his third base coach, Carlos Cepero.
See, John, if you're going to play halfway, you're playing a step here, step here. If it's a ground ball here, you can go for the double play, but otherwise you can come home with a ball that's not a double play ball. But the way they're playing, they have to get the double play or the run's going to score.
And Tavares, who has not yet thrown a pitch, delivers. That is too low. 1 ball to no strikes. Julian Tavares, been with the several ball clubs, most recently the Cardinals. This year he's been signed by the Boston Red Sox in the American League. He started in the American League with Cleveland, also was in San Francisco. On deck is Alexei Ramirez. 2-1 Cuba, 1 out. Down the third base side, foul.
That was interesting, John. The runner at third actually broke toward the plate on that. I thought it was going to be a squeeze. I thought it was a squeeze because he actually broke toward the plate. See, then he stops very quickly, but he was breaking toward the plate. Wasn't taking a normal lead. You see, he was also inside the line. Look at that. He's close to the line. And if you're going to have a squeeze, you want to run straight down the line.
One ball, 1 strike to count to Pestano, who has flied out to shallow left and struck out. And he fouls that one into the batter's box, up off the dirt and off his leg. 1-2 the count.
John, this is a great matchup here too. You got Tavares, who is high strung. You got Pestano, who is high strung. It's a good matchup. Somebody's going to throw something.
and they've got you and me. We're high strung.
Hey, if Pestano doesn't get a hit, he's going to throw something. If Tavares doesn't get him out, he's going to throw something.
And Tavares, the runner at third, became a little high-strung when he started to run, and the guy swung at him.
Yeah.
1-2 the count. And that's a foul that will land into the lower deck off to the right with Pujols coming over. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, even though he's ahead in the count, that's not what they're trying to get out of Pestano. They need the ground ball. And that ball was up a little bit, and he was able to get it in the air. The difficult part is you do not want to bounce it and risk a wild pitch or a pass ball and get the runner home from third. But your job now is to make sure you get the sinker down and get the ground ball.
2-1 Cuba. Cuba has 10 hits in this game now, including 4 in this inning. Quite a remarkable array of hits in this inning. Slider. That's too low. 2-2. I mean, it started when Gurriel hit the ground ball down the third base side. They scored it a single and an error against Beltre. Then Borrero just hit a swinging bunt, a 60-foot single. Then a check swing ground out to knock in a run by Cepeda. Urrutia hit a little bloop. And then Garlobo hit a little bloop.
Well, you can see the Cubans are definitely enjoying their position right now. They're relaxed over there in the dugout, having a good time.
2-2 the count. Runners at first and third. Oh, that was a
hanging breaking ball.
Oh, man. So Tavares got away with one right there. 2-2. Threw him a lollipop.
And you can see the ball is up, and he had a good swing at it. He just missed it. I mean, like you said, that was a mistake that he got away with. So contrary to some people who believe that every time a pitcher makes a mistake, it goes out of the ballpark, we saw one right there that did not go out of the ballpark, didn't even get put in play.
On deck, Alexei Ramirez. Julian Tavares, after getting a visit from Castillo, the catcher, and Beltre, the third baseman. There is Ramirez on deck for Team Cuba. Top of the 7th inning. The Dominican Republic is the home team for this game, having won the pool. Team Cuba was the runner-up in the pool from San Juan. 2-2 the count. 2 on, 1 out, and again Tavares with that double fake. Well, what about that runner at first base, Joe? If you're the manager for Cuba, Eugenio Velez, would you advise him to send him?
Well, yeah, I don't think you send him now with 2 strikes, but look, he knows his hitters better than I do and who can put the ball in play in this situation. But again, there's only one way they don't score a run, and that's a sharp ground ball near the bag at second base. Any place else, I think they should be able to score.
2-2 the count. Tavares at third, Garlobo at first, and hits softly. They've hit so many balls so softly in this inning.
You're right.
Soft is good.
You're right. Peter Pasquarelli gave me a note. He said every ball they've hit this inning you could have caught without a glove. But they couldn't catch any of them, and so the Cubans are ahead 2-1 and
so
still threatening.
The advice to Ariel Pestano: hit it, but don't hit it too hard, for goodness sake. Garlobo, the runner at first, and we're talking about whether he would take off. He was limping a little bit earlier, so he may be nursing some kind of an injury as well. Julian Tavares checks the runners. Slide step, and that's a foul out of play off to the right. Pitchers will talk about in double play situations pitching for the double play. In other words, you don't want to make a pitch that's going to miss the guy's bat or that'll hit too softly. You want him to hit it on the ground but sharply at somebody.
Well, that's the point I was making. That's why I wouldn't send him, because if they don't hit it sharply up the middle to the second baseman or shortstop, you're probably not going to be a double play, and therefore you would score another run. But if you send him and say he strikes out, well, then you're out of the inning.
And he is the 6th batter of the inning, and nobody's hit one sharply yet, and they scored 2 runs.
Right.
Ariel Pestano, the 32-year-old catcher, hitting .259 in the Cuban League this year. He's not, offense is not the main part of his game. He's a defender, and he's the guy who helps run the ball club on the field during the game. Pestano backs away. He got a wide open stance. That front foot is almost out of the side of the batter's box there. 2-2 the count. Now a full count. So this battle continues. Now it's 3-2, Joe. What about that runner at first?
Well, you may have forced him into sending him. And it's a tough situation for the defense. It puts pressure on the defense, because if he's running and you get the ground ball you want, you can't turn the double play. A lot of times in this situation, you bring the infield halfway for sure. So that if there is a weak ground ball, you can come to the plate with it. So I think if you're you have to think about it defensively as well. I would bring the infield halfway, so that if he does go, then I can still come home.
All right, so we've got our eyes on Yoandri Garlobo, the runner at first. He goes. That is ball 4. Another slider that didn't do much sliding.
It was off speed. It wasn't its good sinker.
The bases are loaded. The 10th pitch of the battle between Tavares and Pestano draws a walk. Bases loaded, and the 9th place hitter Alexei Ramirez coming up. And the Dominican is going to conference again at the mound, and they're all coming in on this one. Castillo, the catcher, and all of the infielders. Beltre, Tejada, Polanco, and Pujols all there with Julian Tavares. Meanwhile, the third base coach for Cuba runs over to second base. That's Carlos Cepero. He's going to talk to Garlobo over there at second base.
And maybe he's going to find out if he can run and if he can score on a base hit.
Well, that's a good point, because if he's going to wave him home, he wants to know how well he feels.
Well, you see him actually, he's dragging his left leg a little bit, John. So maybe that's the problem. But he was, you know, as you mentioned, he was limping before. And you have to make sure that he can score.
The bases are loaded. And the ninth place hitter, Alexei Ramirez, he has hit a single and he has grounded out to third. Only one out in the inning. Wow. Well, in the sixth inning, it was the Dominican Republic that looked like they were ready for a big inning. First and third, nobody had all their big guys up. They only got one. But it's now Team Cuba that has a chance for a big inning, even though they've just hit a collection of little dribblers and pop-ups. They've got the bases loaded, one out, and 2 runs already in.
And they're playing the infield halfway now, so they can come to the plate if it's not a sharply hit ground ball.
And a slider. Got the call on that one on the outside, 0-1. And Ramirez didn't seem to be so sure. Let's take a look at K-zone.
I can understand why. I mean, you take a look at this. It's a slider. But remember, what is that? It's close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that showed maybe 3 or 4 inches off the corner.
Yeah. So
not within that 2-inch zone.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Acceptable.
Yeah. A little bit beyond that. Bases loaded, 1 out, 1 strike. Fastball sinking low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Tavares keeps throwing that slider, but he's not throwing many sliders well.
Well, that's my point I was going to make, John. If you're looking for the ground ball, you're a good sinker ball pitcher. Throw it. Make that be your pitch. You're trying to mix pitches, you know, at this point, may be a little more difficult. Get the ground ball that you want.
A ball and a strike. That ball is just foul.
Man.
Tom Halley and the first base umpire emphatically making the call, but the man who hit it, Ramirez, wasn't so sure.
Well, he got the ground ball, but it was sharply hit, too. He got the ball down on that play. And you can see clearly the umpire makes the clear decision that it is foul. And it appears that it was foul. But again, it's hard to tell, but the umpire was sitting right there looking down the line.
So I forgot you had brought that eye in the sky kind of camera with you today.
Oh, okay.
That came in handy right there. Bases loaded. You saw the runner at third was Tavares. Garlobo at second. Pestano the catcher over at first. Ramirez hitting .323 this year in the regular season with a 1-2 count. Slider, another hanger. Left center field, plenty deep enough to get the run home. Tavares tagging at third. The catch made by Tavares. And it is 3-1 Cuba as Tavares comes in to score. Garlobo back to second. Pestano holding at first. And in Havana, more celebrating at El Castillito.
Well, he hit the ball hard on the sinker, so Tavares comes with a breaking ball, but he hangs it again. And this time he doesn't get away with it. And he's able to get the fly ball. Now watch this pitch. I mean, it's a breaking ball. It just kind of hangs there. It's not a bad pitch as far as location is concerned, but it's up. And Ramirez is able to get it in the air and get the job done.
Now the leadoff man, Eduardo Perret. Perret, the 8th batter of the inning for Team Cuba. He has struck out, fouled out, and had a bunt for a single. 1 for 3 in the game. Hitting .365. during the regular season in the Serie Nacional in Cuba this year. 2 on, 2 out, 3 in. Slider misses. 1 ball and no strikes. 3-1. Cuba now with 3 runs, 10 hits in the game. The Dominican 1 run and 5 hits. And the Dominican, when they come up in the last half of the 7th, will have the last part of their batting order coming up. There's Manny Acta. And now he may be feeling a little bit like Buck Martinez was feeling, managing Team USA with all those big sluggers. What happened to the offense? 1 ball and no strikes. That sinker taken low. 2-0 to Perret. 33 years old, a veteran of the Cuban leagues. In the first 6 innings against Bartolo Colon, they had 6 hits, but no runs. This inning, nobody's hit the ball hard, but they had 3 runs on the board to show for it. 4 base hits. A couple of infield grounders and a couple of pop-ups. That is fair ball. Beltre tags the bag with a force out on Garlobo. The inning is over. 8 men come to bat. 3 of them score. Now to the last half of the 7th inning. 3-1 Cuba.
My lady, your chariot awaits.
Oh, where's the chicken Caesar salad for the party?
I'm eating one right now.
That's a burrito.
And a chicken Caesar salad. One must peek under its little toga.
It's Taco Bell's Chicken Caesar Grilled Stuffed Burrito. Stuffed with marinated all-white meat chicken, crisp romaine lettuce, tortilla strips, and covered in Caesar dressing. All wrapped up and grilled to go.
I think your chariot's on fire.
For the Chicken Caesar Salad Lovers Burrito, think outside the bun.
Season started.
Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you'll find in no other beer.
Colorful M&M's minis deep inside a creamy chocolate bar. Amazing in peanut butter and crunchy. Ah, yes.
It starts in your own neighborhood. When you care enough to give your time to help someone still learning the way and getting involved in the needs of your community.
Once you've helped bring a smile to someone's face and help brighten their day, you'll be hooked for life.
The Major League Baseball Players Trust and Volunteers of America are teaming up to make a real difference in the lives of the people in our communities. Join a winning team. See what you can do to help.
This telecast of the World Baseball Classic is presented by the Taco Bell Chicken Caesar Grilled Stuffed Burrito, the burrito for Chicken Caesar salad lovers, and in part by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
The World Baseball Classic from San Diego. And fans, we want to remind you to watch your team's out-of-market games live from anywhere in the world. Live Major League Baseball coverage right on your desktop or laptop. Go to ESPN.com and search for MLB.TV. Sign up today. I was watching a lot of these games in the earlier rounds of the WBC tournament on my laptop computer during spring training in Scottsdale, Arizona. Here is Pedro Lasso now with a 3-1 lead, and he throws ball one to Willie Mo Pena. Some changes for the Cuban team afield. So they used a couple of pinch runners. There's a ball off the outside. 2-0 to Pena. Juan Pedroso now at first base. And moving to right field from center field, Alexei Ramirez now in right field. He had been the center fielder. And the new center fielder is in there. And the slider, and the count is now 2-1. Carlos Tavares, who pinch ran for Urrutia in the 7th inning, is now in center field. Three to 1, Cuba leading the Dominican. Pena has reached on an error by the left fielder Cepeda, and he has hit a single. He is 1 for 2. Jose Mota down by the Cuban dugout. Jose.
In that long inning, Pedro Lasso stayed in the dugout in this cold air in Puerto Rico. Most of the time we saw him go and warm up between innings to stay loose.
There's a fastball for a strike on the inside. Now it's 3-2 to Willie Mo Pena. Well, Jose,
also keep in mind, John and Joe, that he's coming out of that shadow now. Hard to pick up his spin.
And there's that spin, the slider for strike 3 swinging. 1 away here in the 7th. One down here is Alberto Castillo. Those late afternoon shadows have not yet quite advanced upon home plate, but you get a look at from a batter's eye view there, Joe.
Well, it's not as bad as it will get because, you know, he's standing in the shadows right here. But when the shadows are over home plate, and he's in the sunlight, is when it's more difficult. But it is different than the way the game started.
Now we've got a pitch hitter for the Dominican Republic. There is the New York Mets prize young shortstop Jose Reyes. one of the real exciting players in the game. Reyes, who had 60 stolen bases for the Mets last year.
And he is just fun to watch play, John. He plays the game with a lot of passion and enthusiasm.
And he takes a strike. He bluffed the bunt. And it's 0-1. He's only had 5 at-bats in this series. So he's one of those guys who, had he been in spring training with the Mets, would have a lot more at-bats right now than he's been able to get here, having to, I mean, he's playing behind Miguel Tejada, who's one of the great shortstops in the game. 1-1 to Jose Reyes. The changeup, did he swing? No, says third base umpire Neil Poulton. Got a 6-man umpiring crew working. And the Team Cuba looked a little unhappy about that ruling on that check swing. 2-1 the count. Lasso tries it again. That one is in there. 2-2.
John, I think you made a point there about, you know, Reyes not getting a lot of at-bats. And, you know, if he was with the Mets, he would have. But, you know, my thought on that is, look, this is only going to happen once every 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? Let's do it and do it the right way.
There's a swing and a pop-up. Off to the left of the plate, foul ground. Pestano's got room. And that is out number 2. 2 down, nobody on in the last of the 7th inning. The semifinals, Cuba leading the Dominican 3-1. In round 1, Cuba involved with Panama, the Netherlands, and Puerto Rico. And they won the first 2 games and then just got clobbered by Puerto Rico, but nonetheless advanced into the 2nd round with Puerto Rico. And then they defeated Venezuela, that were in turn beaten by the Dominican Republic. And then they got a win in their final game down there against Puerto Rico in an extremely memorable game. What a wild night that was in San Juan. And a crushing defeat ultimately for the Puerto Rican team, I thought, that did themselves proud all through the tournament. 0-1 the count now to Willie Taveras, the speedy center fielder. And he has had a bunt single, but has also struck out into an inning-ending double play. One of 3 double plays turned by Cuba in this game. That pop-up, and the new first baseman will handle it, Pedroso. 3 up and 3 down. On to the 8th inning. Enriquez, the .448 hitter than Gurriel, coming up for Cuba.
Lakers, Cavs, or Mavericks, Nets. Sunday, 12:30 Eastern on ABC.
What happens if your latest product goes global in a single bound? What happens when new technology overcomes carelessness? What happens if reducing stress reduces accidents too? What happens if your business model changes every 4 hours? At Zurich, we consider all sorts of possibilities. It's why for nearly 100 years we've provided relevant, secure insurance solutions for a changing world. Zurich, because change happens.
Excuse me. At AOL, we believe everyone should be fast. That's why we're making it simple for our members to upgrade from dial-up to true broadband. To get AOL high speed for as low as $25.90 a month, sign up now at AOL.com/highspeed. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL.
It's funny how you make decisions. Some decisions are easy, and some need a little help. So where do you turn for help when it comes to choosing your insurance agent? How do you decide who's going to help protect everything that's important to you? Don't leave that decision to chance. Look for a trusted choice agent. Trusted choice agents offer you a choice of insurance companies.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic, Inc. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
The World Baseball Classic semifinals, Cuba 3, Dominican Republic 1. We go to the top of the 8th inning. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan at Petco Park in San Diego, along with Jose Mota and Peter Gammons. There is Jose Brito, the new catcher for the Dominican Republic, and Julian Tavares delivers ball 1 to Michel Enriquez. There's Brito after Castillo was lifted for a pinch hitter. Tavares facing Enriquez, who is 0 for 3. That's a called strike on the inside with that sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike. Enriquez is 0 for 3 today. Yulieski Gurriel to follow, and then Juan Pedroso due up 3rd in the inning. 3-1, Cuba on top. That sinker tapped foul back behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a tale of 2 half innings. One where the Dominican had everything going their way, and Pedro Lasso allowed them only 1 unearned run, despite all of their best hitters up, with runners at 1st and 3rd. And then Cuba put together an assortment of little ground balls and, throwing error by Beltre, a pass ball by Castillo, another ground ball through the middle, a pop fly, and they put 3 runs on the board with all of that. 1-2 the count, and the breaking ball misses inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tonight, Japan takes on South Korea. South Korea, the only unbeaten team in this tournament. That'll be at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 Eastern time. So the All-Caribbean semifinal here, Cuba and the Dominican Republic, and then the All-Asian semifinal later tonight. 2-2 pitch. Up the middle. That's through, base hit. Let's take a look now at the Intel Centrino game track for this ball game. As Enriquez takes over at first base. This error by Gurriel allowed the first run of the game to score to make it 1-0 Dominican in the 6th inning. But then in the 7th inning, a check swing ground out by Cepeda. That brought home Gurriel to tie the game. And then with the infield in, Urrutia hit a ground ball right through the middle of that drawn-in infield to bring in the go-ahead run for the pinch hitter Rudy Reyes. They got another run later on a sacrifice fly by Alexei Ramirez. And it is 3-1 Cuba. Now with a runner at first. Nobody out. Here is Gurriel, who is 1 for 3. He started that 3-run 7th-inning rally with an infield hit. Although I think if you were to ask Beltre about it, he would say, hey, I just could have been charged with an error all the way on the ball. But it was scored as a single and an error, and a 3-run rally began right there. Gurriel 1 for 3 in the game. Look out. Right toward his chin, and he hits the deck. The man on deck, Pedroso, walks over to Gurriel, has a few words with him.
Well, it's a fastball. It's not a sinking fastball. It's a riding fastball, and it's up and in. And a good job by Gurriel just to get out of the way.
The hit batsman had been a regular part of the Cuban games in this tournament, although only 5 Cuban batters themselves have been hit. Rather, Cuban pitchers have hit 5, but the Cuban batters have been hit 9 times in the previous 6 games. In the bullpen, Jorge Sosa and Fernando Rodney, a couple of right-handers warming up out there. Rodney in the background, number 56 of the Detroit Tigers. Jorge Sosa of the Atlanta Braves. Now a high pop-up. That will go back out of play off the third base side.
John, you were talking about the
Citgo Road to the Kentucky Derby will be coming up next after this ball game.
John, you were mentioning the fact that the Cubans had been hit 9 times, and I would say that it's not because of their approach. You know, a lot of teams may dive in, etc. The Cubans do not have that type of approach where they're diving into the ball and therefore get hit a lot. I can't explain it why they've been hit a lot, but they do not have the approach where they're diving across the plate.
Well, they had the one-ball game with Panama right away in the tournament, and they had history against each other.
Yeah, well, then
in these different tournaments.
Well, my point is, that's what I was going to say, is that it's not because of anything they're doing in the batter's box. It's because, you know, the way the pitchers are pitching them.
I mean, what was it, I think they had 3 guys themselves who got hit just in that one game, and they hit a couple of the Panamanians in that game. Ended up being a very dramatic game that went 11 innings before Cuba was able to pull it out 8-6. So Gurriel battling it out with Tavares. The runner at first, Enriquez. Nobody out. There goes Enriquez. That ball is belted a mile foul down the left field line.
Well, as I said before, when you look at Gurriel, he looks like a hitter. I mean, he's got a great foundation. And watch the stride. Everything looks great here. Look at that. Perfect balance. And he just attacks the ball. A little bit his back foot comes off the ground, a little bit like the great Stan Musial used to do. And what you do when you drag your back foot is it keeps the bat level a little bit longer.
Came in the hands, and that one is whacked foul down the left field line again. 2-2.
Well, let's take a look. This ball runs in, and he just reacts with his hands, which is pretty good. He didn't react with his body. He didn't really twist his body. He just used his hands to get the ball off of him inside.
Yulieski Gurriel, 21 years old. 3-1 Cuba leading. Tavares will try it again. That's down the left field line, fair. Alou gets it back to the infield, stopping at second. Enriquez, and here's Cuba actually getting a base hit and hitting the ball hard in doing it.
Well, you can see his approach. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing in the batter's box, and he's still young. I mean, he's going to get better. But watch this. They went inside. They tried to come back away, and this ball is over the plate. But look at the reaction. I mean, just a nice level swing. Watch where his bat is. It never drops. So he just drops the barrel of the bat on the ball. A lot of guys, when they hold their barrels up, their bats up high, they drop it and try to get it back up. He doesn't do that. Just a nice compact swing.
Manny Acta, the manager, going out, and he takes the ball from Julian Tavares. And Cuba now is threatening to open this up a bit, and it's late. We're in the 8th inning. 3-1 Cuba. We'll be back.
So John and I are thinking of going to Cancun if we can find a good deal.
It's funny. So are Dan and I.
It's time to play Take on Orbits. Today's players want a total vacation, hotel plus flight, and must save over $300. Go.
I need a deal to Cancun.
Oh, that's outrageous.
Done. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's that easy.
One free night plus $100 off Sheraton, Westin, and W hotels in Hawaii. Only when you book on Orbitz and go.
I was overweight and it was so embarrassing. Then I tried Hydroxycut and I lost 27 pounds in just 8 weeks.
I'm Dr. John Marshall. I lost 29 pounds and 5.5 inches off my waist using Hydroxycut. I strongly recommend it, both as a new doctor and someone who used it with fantastic results.
Thanks, Hydroxycut. I feel like a new woman.
Lose up to 4.5 times the weight fast. Get yours today at buyhydroxycut.com and GNC, Walgreens, drugstores, and supercenters everywhere.
It's the most exciting hole on tour, the 17th at Sawgrass. Now, Tiger, Lefty, VJ, and Ernie take on the infamous Island Green. The Players' Championship, Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Introducing mobile ESPN. Sports fans, your phone has arrived.
I never made it to the show because they said I was an inconsistent hitter.
To say Rod was inconsistent is probably an understatement.
But now I'm in Osaka and everything's good.
There you go.
What did he say? People in Japan, they don't care about RBIs. They care about the long ball. I consider myself an entertainer, and people over here love me for it, and I love them for it. I'm a big star over here.
Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
I felt that one.
The World Baseball Classic semifinal, and the team from Cuba is trying to maybe put this one away with 2 men on and nobody out in the 8th inning, and already leading 3-1 against the Dominican Republic. And there is Fernando Rodney of the Detroit Tigers. He ended up doing a lot of closing for the Tigers last year, and he comes on here with 2 men on, and Pedroso coming up. And Joe Gurriel hit that ball hard on his base hit here in the 8th.
Well, he showed you his foundation. Look at this balance, great balance. Now watch, he doesn't drop his barrel. He goes right to the ball. He doesn't do this to get to the ball. Watch his hands. See where they start. He pushes them away from him, and boom, right there. I mean, that's beautiful right there. I mean, you can see how level he could stay on the ball because he doesn't drop his hand. Kind of reminds you of Juan Gonzalez, maybe even Julio Franco, but he could be the type of hitter that Juan Gonzalez was, a guy that can just drive the ball in all directions and hit for power. And he's only 21 years old.
Well, here's Juan Pedroso, and he's already showing bunt here. And Rodney with a throw to second base, and there was nobody at second base when he started to throw, and finally the second baseman Polanco got over, at least in the vicinity.
Well, like you say, very rarely do you see your cleanup hitter square around before the pitch. He's hitting in the cleanup spot. Of course, he pinch hit.
He came in for defense. After Sanchez pinch hit.
Now Pedroso's in.
Reyes pinch ran. And Pedroso replaced Reyes, who replaced Sanchez, who replaced Barrero.
That's why my scorecard looks all junky in that one spot.
And with Pujols almost right in on top of him, he takes that ball too high, showing bunt as Beltre tries to lay back at third base. The Citgo racing for the Kentucky Derby will come up right after the ball game. So tuned in for that. Cuba leading the Dominican Republic 3-1 here, trying to get to the final of the first World Baseball Classic.
And I think this is a great move here to try to break the game open, try to get another run or two. And here you're late in the ball game.
Frederic Cepeda is on deck, but now Rodney's having a hard time throwing a strike. 2-0, which is kind of confounding for a manager, because here's a guy
trying to give
advertising. He might as well walk up there with a sign and say, I'm just going to make it out.
Yeah, I want to give you one. Just throw me a pitch that I can bunt.
But now it's 2-0.
Well, he's still squaring around, John. He says, I'm going to bunt.
I mean, you see this in the National League, in Major League Baseball, with a pitcher will square around like that early. Bunted foul. He wants to make that third baseman come in and field the ball, which would take away the force out at third base. I mean, the Dominican would like to get a bunt and be able to make a play on that lead runner. Beltre, the third baseman, flashing some signs to let the other infielders know what Maniacta wants him to do here. It's like he's been so blatant about wanting to bunt. It's almost like if you're Dominican, you have to say, he must be kidding. 2-1 the count. He's showing that bunt, and that's outside. 3-1.
Well, he's doing a great job. You know, fundamentally, he's squaring around with the barrel of the bat higher than his hands, and not only that, he's not moving. See, when you move is when you bunt at bad pitches. But he is not moving. Just watch him. He sets the barrel high because he wants to hit the top of the ball, and he just stays there. He doesn't do anything else. He doesn't move the rest of his body, and that way you can tell whether the pitch is in the strike zone or not. See, the barrel's high.
And he makes the third baseman come in to get it. Beltre over to Polanco covering, and he got it done. Enriquez over to third base. Gurriel to second base with a 1 out, and Cepeda coming up. But let's go down to near the Dominican dugout and Peter Gammons.
Well, John, for the first 5-6 innings, the players over here were dancing and having a lot of fun and just being natural. Well, things have changed dramatically. What you have to understand, this might be miracle on ice for the Cubans, but for the Dominicans, they were expected to win this thing in their country. There's been a great deal of anticipation. The players who didn't come have been blasted in their home newspapers. There's a great deal of pressure and tension here as the game closes down.
Well, the guys that didn't come, if they were blasted before, if they don't win, they're really going to be blasted. So,
although some got unfairly blasted. For instance, Pedro Martinez. I mean, he was hurt. He has not yet pitched a game for the Mets in spring training. And Stan Javier, the general manager, a longtime big leaguer himself, and the general manager of this team, Dominican Republic, said they told him, said, don't come, because he wanted to come. And he said, no, you're going to hurt yourself. Just go to spring training and forget about it. But he still got apparently blasted in some quarters. in the Dominican in some of the newspapers down there. And there's the ball outside. But they said he was one of the first guys to say, I'm there. I can't wait.
Well, you know, with his sense of country, that definitely doesn't surprise me that he wanted to go.
Carlos Tavares, a right-handed hitter, due up next. And there's ball forward to Cepeda, the left-handed swinger. Cepeda has had some big hits in this tournament for Cuba. So now the bases are loaded. That will allow them to try for the double play ball up the middle of the diamond. So here is Carlos Tavares coming up with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Well, you never like to think in those terms because anything can happen, and the Dominican team can erupt at any time. But you're in almost a must execute double play situation here, because if you fall any further behind, I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult to make up, because we have not seen anybody come back late against the Cuban bullpen.
Well, the Dominican bullpen, 1 and a third innings. You saw those numbers. 3 runs have scored since they went to the bullpen. There have been 6 hits allowed, and they've only retired 4. They've issued 2 walks, and they're got some fascination with that bat down there. That's Ariel Pestano with the bat, the Cuban catcher. He's in the hole as Tavares comes up. This is his first at bat of the game. Garlobo would be next. That is a strike from Fernando Rodney. By the way, feliz cumpleaños to Fernando Rodney. Today is his birthday. But they're not celebrating that down in Havana. That's the live look from the youth center at El Castillito in Havana, where they are feeling a lot of nationalistic pride right now in their very fine ball club, which has for years been the power in amateur baseball circles. That's a called strike. I mean, they almost always win in the international tournaments against the various national teams in amateur ball. And this, what they knew, was their sternest test as a group, as a national team, coming in against teams from around the world, but including Major League Baseball talent.
Well, John, you mentioned that the Dominican bullpen has given up runs.
In the dirt, and a save there by Brito. He may have saved a run right there.
Well, one thing, John, they've only gotten 4 outs, and 2 of them were sacrifices. So they have not done the job coming out of the bullpen. But as you mentioned, just a great play there. He caught it, but he was in position to block it, which was the main thing. He was trying to block it first and catch it second, but he was able to do both.
Nice play there by Brito. 3-1 Cuba. Bases loaded, 1 out. Rodney tries it again. He blows it by him. Strike 3. And Tavares maybe trying to lobby Bob Davidson for a foul tip, but Davidson said, no, that was a swing and a miss. 2 down. Here's a look.
Well, the ball is knocked out of his glove with his follow through. You see, he catches it, and there he hits him on the left wrist, and that knocks the ball out of his glove.
So now the shadows that Jose Marti had been talking about, the pitcher's in those shadows, but with a bright background behind him.
That's when it's more difficult.
This is Yoandri Garlobo. Shortstop, Tejada. He's going to go all the way to first base with it just in time. Wow. Instead of going to second for the force out there, he went all the way to first, and it was close. But Cuba does not score. The top of the order, Polanco, Tejada, Pujols coming up.
This is who I am. This is where I'm from. This is what I believe in when the day is done. This is Budweiser. This is clear. Budweiser, the king is here. This is Budweiser. This is
the extra hours you dedicate to your students, we think you deserve some extra credit. TIAA-CREF. serving the retirement needs of those in the academic, medical, cultural, and research fields. Visit us online to find out how we can serve you. TIAA CREF, Financial Services for the greater good.
Life comes at you fast. Be smart. Invest with Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side.
Need something? To find it locally, you need yellowpages.com.
Colorful M&M's minis deep inside that creamy chocolate bar. Amazing. Ink crunchy and peanut butter. Ah, yes.
The Dominican Republic is trailing. Last of the 8th inning. The favorite here, really, since before the tournament started, or at least no worse than a co-favorite, maybe with Team USA. Later on tonight, the other semifinal, Japan versus Korea. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And for the Dominican, their best shot may be right now. In the 8th inning, they've got the top of the order, Polanco, but then the sluggers, Tejada and Pujols. And if anybody gets on, David Ortiz. And that's a foul. Polanco has grounded out, grounded into a double play. And then in the 6th inning, he singled as a leadoff man. So he is 1 for 3 in the game. The World Baseball Classic. Tonight, Korea, Japan, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Available also on ESPN HD. And they dribbled that one foul. And the count is 0-2. Lasso, who came on in relief of Yadel Marti in the game against Venezuela last Sunday. And he went 5 innings in that game. Gave up 2 runs and 3 hits to get a save. Hugging the foul line at first base. That was very interesting because it's a 2-run lead, but Pedroso was right on the foul line there for the right-handed hitter. And if that had been a fair ball, that might have been just right for him.
Well, they obviously have their scouting report. It's on each team, each player. I see him even moving back close to the line now. It is very unusual with a 2-run lead to be that close to the line.
And he's doing the same thing right now. Usually you only do that just to protect against the extra base hit with a 1-run lead. That's another foul. Lasso now has thrown 51 pitches in this game, by the way.
There's a big difference in the way that Lasso pitches compared to Marti. Marti slowed everything down, threw a lot of off-speed pitches, whatever. Lasso get the ball and he's ready to go. I mean, he's ready to pitch.
They got the bullpen going. Whenever they're in the field, the bullpen is always going. 0-2 the count. And the slider low and outside. A ball and 2 strikes to Polanco. 52 pitches. One of the pitching rules for this tournament, if a guy pitches 50 pitches or more in a game, that was a hanging slider and drilled into left field by Polanco. So Polanco battled it out with him after getting behind in the count, and he gets himself a hit. David Ortiz in the hole now with Tejada coming up and Pujols out on deck.
Well, you're right. It's kind of a hanger. That's just kind of a spinning breaking ball. It doesn't do much. And Polanco, see the difference we were talking about before. He drops his hands a little bit, but he's able to get them back up because it's a breaking ball. You can't get back up on the fastball.
So Polanco, 2 hits in the game. Now Miguel Tejada, who has 2 hits as well and has scored the Dominicans' only run. And that's a fastball to strike. Now Tejada is ordinarily a home run threat, but he has not hit a home run in this tournament. He is the possible tying run.
But I mean, if you look, he's been able to get some hits. He just hasn't been able to drive the ball.
Ooh.
Man.
Blew the high, hard one right by him.
I think that was a perfect example there of not being able to pick the ball up because he kind of spins out of the swing. I mean, this ball is on top of him before he can pick it up, and he spins out. So that's where you're trying to catch up with the ball. You can see him roll his right hand over the top. That's when you're trying to speed the bat up. And we talked about the shadows. That was a great example right there.
Lunges at it, pops it up. Gurriel going out, and in from center to make the catch is Tabarez. One out, and now Albert Pujols coming up. It's the semifinal matchup between Cuba and the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic, and Cuba has a 3-1 lead. Last of the 8th inning. The big hitters are coming up right now for the Dominican with 1 out and 1 on. Tejada has just popped up, but here comes the National League MVP last year, Albert Pujols, and right behind him, David Ortiz, the great American League slugger. So these are the guys they want up there when they need runs produced. But it may be now or never for the Dominican. If they cannot get it done right here, it may be back to spring training for these guys a little bit earlier than they had planned. Lasso, that's a strike to Pujols. None of these hitters in the numbers 3 through 6 power spots, Pujols, Ortiz, Beltre, and Alou, none of those 4 has had even a single hit in this game. And slider up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pujols has walked, popped to second, and grounded into a force play. Ortiz has grounded into a double play and grounded out 2 other times. Beltre is 0 for 3. Alou is 0 for 3.
John, in between innings, I saw the great Dominican dandy, Juan Marichal. He's here. He actually threw out the first pitch of this ball game.
That's a base hit to right field. He muscled it off the hands. And Polanco had already turned around to go back to second base, held up by Griffin, and did not realize that the right fielder, Ramirez, overran that ball, that he would have easily gone into third base as it turned out.
Well, I think it was important for him to go to third anyway, because it appeared to me that Polanco had his mind made up he was going to third. Now watch, this is a base hit to right field. Good hitting, as we know Albert Pujols can do. And he runs right past it. But I don't think he was going to be able to get Polanco anyway. See, Polanco has his mind made up he's going, and then he stops. And then Alfredo Griffin tries to tell him to come ahead, but it's too late. Once you stop your momentum and you go backwards, it's just too hard to start up again and get over to third, especially when you're down 3-1.
So now David Ortiz, the left-handed slugger, the possible tying runs are on base. And Ortiz, in the last game between these clubs on Monday, launched a spectacular home run against Team Cuba. He hit that one against Jonder Martinez over everything. But now, although they won that game 7-3, Cuba trying to get the last laugh among these Caribbean baseball powers. And Ortiz with a chance here to do something about it personally. They have handled him today. They have not been pitching around him. They haven't just walked him every time. He's 0 for 3. A soaring pop fly. Gurriel out. And he's called off the play by Ramirez.
Well, he had a pitch to hit. Looked like it was about belt high. Looked like it was on the middle to inner half of the plate. And he got under. He just missed it. I mean, he had a good swing at it, but he misses it. Belt high, inner half of the plate, and he just misses it. Watch this swing. Boom. He just misses it. I mean, everything was there except he hit underneath the ball. His timing was perfect. Everything. That's why it's so tough to hit a baseball. Mechanically, you can do everything right, and you can still make an out.
Now Beltre, who's had an excellent tournament, but 0 for 3 today. The slider low for ball 1. 2 on, 2 out. The Dominican is 0 for 7 as a team in its at-bats with runners in scoring position in this game. Moises Alou would be next. 3-1 Cuba. Slider came back and caught the inside corner. Citgo Racing to the Kentucky Derby is next here on ESPN. Polanco at second. Pujols at first. Adrian Beltre trying to get the big hit. Slider. And the count is now 2 balls and a strike. 3 runs, 12 hits, and 3 errors for Cuba. 1 run, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Dominican Republic. The 1 error was by Beltre, which came on a ground ball by Gurriel that started that 3-run, 7th-inning rally. That ball, left field. Back is Cepeda, and the inning is over. He hit it hard, but with topspin on it, and it faded into the glove of Cepeda at the warning track. They have gone through most of the big hitters of the Dominican once again with no offense. And Lasso, the one may stand for 1 inning to go.
Hey, man, that car is off the hook.
I like classics made modern. What's that? Same deal. It's Crunchwrap Supreme. All the classic Taco Bell taste grilled up, so it's good to go.
The Crunchwrap Supreme is back. Beefy, melty, crunchy, cool classic Taco Bell taste loaded into a flour tortilla and grilled for maximum portability.
Taco Bell?
Good to go. For classic Taco Bell tastes that are good to go, think outside the bun.
Season started.
Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you'll find in no other beer.
It's every ball player's dream to play in the majors. Finally got my call with Boston in '04.
Tim Casey was a journeyman, and he got a cup of coffee for about 10 days and then had to go back.
10 best days of my life. This is a picture of me in the show with Poppy.
I don't remember Tim Casey.
The towels in the show are so absorbent. These guys love to hear stories about the show. You can get flat water, you can get sparkling water, you can mix them together if you want.
Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
You know what I mean, right?
The World Baseball Classic. For the first time ever, the world's greatest players playing for pride in the championship. Follow all the action on worldbaseballclassic.com. I don't do that, but I'm going to follow it right here in person. Now we're going to go to the 9th inning with Cuba leading 3-1 and time running out on the Dominican Republic.
Jose Mota is down by the Dominican or by the Cuban dugout. Let's go to Jose.
Antonio Castro just came to me and said, you know what, I could even imagine what it's going back home. And he goes, I am very, very nervous with this family here in the dugout.
Well, they may be very nervous. How about the Dominican Republic? They're trailing. Here is Ariel Pestano, the catcher, and that is a called strike.
John, you know what?
0 for 2 with a walk.
This points out to me something you said in the open. You said the Cuban players, they're defiant. They're whatever. And guess what? They're not intimidated either by anybody. I mean, I'm watching the way that they're going after the Albert Pujols, the Ortiz, the Tejadas of the world. They're not afraid of them. I mean, we've watched Lasso just go through this lineup. And, I mean, this is, you know, they're tested. They're world tested, as we might say.
That ball is hit foul on the count 0-2. I mean, a couple of times everything fell apart for them in this tournament, and they got clobbered.
Right.
I mean, Puerto Rico beat them 12-2 in the first round of the game. And then the Dominican was the other team, beat them 7-3 the other day in San Juan. But it's almost like they have a lot of the exuberance of youth, and they make some mistakes.
Right. Well, yeah, they've made some mistakes, but guess what? They've been able to overcome those mistakes so far. But as the old saying goes, the toughest 3 outs may be the last 3. You know, especially when you're playing for pride and country. So we'll see what happens. But they're going to go to the 9th inning leading at least by 2 runs.
But also because this is tournament play, and they know better than anybody, how to do that. That is a swing and a miss strike 3. It looked like a split finger pitch to get Pestano. And there is out number 1 in the 9th. That is the live shot from Havana overlooking the Malecon. And the sun is setting down there as the Cubans are hoping it is also setting on Team Dominican Republic. Cuba leading here 3-1. That's the look from Havana. And there is a swing and a foul by Ramirez, who had a mighty cut at that one. It is 0-1. On deck is Eduardo Perret. Well, this game with Yadel Marti starting the game, and then Pedro Lasso, considering that Daniel Betancourt, maybe their best overall pitcher, has got some arm trouble, so he's not even on the squad from Cuba. But, you know, even in a World Series, you don't see the 2 best starters for a team start and relieve in the same game.
Right. Well, that's what I say. They're built, you know, they have a lot of interchangeable parts. They can start, they can relieve, they can close. I mean, all these guys fit well in this tournament type atmosphere. That's why they won the gold medals over the years. You know.
Just off the outside.
They won 3 of the last Olympic gold medals. The United States, of course, stopped their string with Tommy Lasorda leading the United States to victory.
Well, you know, as you see how well they've done in international play, playing against other amateur teams, including the Olympics, World Cups, Intercontinental Cups. 1-2 the count, and the splitter for the strikeout, and 2 men are gone. But you know, imagine, let's say last year Houston got to the World Series, and their strength was their outstanding starting pitching, led by Roger Clemens and Andy Pettit at the top of the rotation, Roy Oswald. But this would have been the equivalent, you know, Marti and Lasso both pitching in this game, of say Clemens starting and Andy Pettit coming on in the 5th or 6th inning in relief, you know, because their only concern is to get to the game Monday. And then they'll worry about that then. That's right.
You figure it out.
They did the same thing in game 1 in the 2nd round last Sunday against Venezuela. And they looked at that. Their manager, Eugenio Velez, looked at that as a key game in that, because that was really a tough round. I mean, there were some really good clubs in that round.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did win that game with Marti going 4 and Lasso for the last 5, and they almost repeated that process so far here today.
Well, the way the pools were set up, John, you and I had talked about this, that we were going to do these final 3 games, and we were saying, well, if things go true to form, it could be Cuba and the Dominican, or Cuba, maybe Venezuela or Puerto Rico, and on the other side, the United States and Japan. Well, that's what we looked at.
Back to the screen by Eduardo Perret, the leadoff man. He's 1 for 4 today. Well, Japan made it. And Team USA, in its own party, was eliminated. And eliminated by Mexico.
And again, I don't think it had anything to do with anything other than they were not able to get crucial hits at crucial times.
And there are the flags of the 4 nations whose teams are still alive in the World Baseball Classic. Cuba and the Dominican playing here later tonight at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern time. Japan will be taking on the undefeated team from South Korea, which has been a team that has been a revelation in this tournament.
Well, they're being called the dream team, you know, in some cases.
2-2 the count, and another splitter for the strikeout. Strikes out the side, and Fernando Rodney, pretty impressive. But the Dominicans got to get 2 runs to stay alive. Moises Alou, Willie Mo Pena, the first 2 coming up. They're down 3-1.
MLB 06 The Show takes the field with a new rivalry mode, testing heated personal rivalries between gamers, and a franchise mode that allows you to call all the shots and truly run the show. See if you can be king of the diamond, while a new career spotlight preserves your highlight reel of top plays, bloops, and blunders. MLB 06 The Show on PlayStation 2, available now at Walmart. Rated E for everyone.
Walmart. Hey, look at me. Lock in. Crusher here has an extra deltoid muscle. Means he's got exponentially greater bucking propulsion. Now you lean back and you hang on. I'll be there.
New rodeo clowns are a lifesaver.
Rodeo clown? Yeah. No, I in with the birthday party. Hello! Oh, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Hey, batter. Hey, batter.
First base, $58. Second base, 630 pesos. Third base, 300,000 yen. Home, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Fan of the game, wherever there's a game.
Cuba 3, the Dominican Republic 1. Last chance for the dream team for the Dominican. And they've come all this way, but now Cuba in a rematch. After losing to them last Monday, in this one, an elimination game, Cuba is 3 outs away from eliminating the Dominican. Later tonight, Japan and Korea at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Joe mentioned earlier in our telecast that Juan Marichal, the great Hall of Famer from the Dominican Republic, one of the greatest pitchers the game has ever seen, over on the ESPN Deportes, working with Candy Maldonado and also Ernesto Jerez. And they have ESPN Deportes has covered every single game of this tournament. This is game number 37 in the World Baseball Classic. So here is Lasso looking for those final 3 outs, and the breaking ball. Alou was bending back from it, but it came back and caught the corner for strike 1. Lasso now has thrown 65 pitches today in relief of Yadel Marti. 3-1 Cuba. Another slider, and Alou now behind in the count 0-2. He is 0 for 3 in this game. He was hitting .350 for the tournament until today.
And there's no doubt in my mind it's very difficult to see out there right now. You got sunlight, shadows, sunlight. I mean, there's just a lot of different.
0-2 the count, and a fastball down and away. 1-2 now to Moises. Now, if Moises can get on, Willie Mo Pena on deck, a young slugger, would have a chance to tie this game. Ooh. The breaking ball fouled back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Dominican, when you think of all the talent in this lineup, you think of the long ball, extra base hits in the first 6 games they played in this tournament, and they didn't hit as well as they thought they would.
Right.
But they still had 17 extra base hits, including 9 home runs. They have not had a single extra base hit in this game today against Cuba. 1-2. Slider in the dirt for a ball. 2-2 the count.
Well, coming in, they were tied with the United States as far as home runs. The United States hit 9, and so have the Dominican. They've hit 9 home runs in this classic.
They're averaging nearly 6 runs a game in the tournament, but only 1 run today. 2-2. On the fists. Shallow center. Is somebody going to catch it? That ball is in there. Base hit. Gurriel going out. Tabarez coming in. Tabarez was playing very deep. That ball was up there for a long time.
But John, as I said before, maybe the final 3 outs on this type of a stage are the toughest to get, because Lassos was breathing along, and all of a sudden he makes a, this is not a good pitch, a fastball in, but it hits him off the fist. But he had been throwing breaking balls away, and he had been missing. And he gets his bat on it, and he bloops it in the shallow center for a base hit.
So now Willie Mo Pena is the possible tying run. Pena is 1 for 3 in this game. That's a called strike. And the Cuban bullpen busy again. Sit-go, racing to the Kentucky Derby, comes up after the ball game here on ESPN. 2 high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pena, kind of a free swinging slugger, a young slugger with the Cincinnati Reds. And he has enormous power. Last year hit 19 homers and only 311 at bats for the Reds. Shallow right center. There is Ramirez, the right fielder. In the shadows. Pena retired. One away. Now Brito, the catcher, is due up. But they're going to send up a pinch hitter for him. Looks like Ronnie Belliard coming out. A veteran. Not necessarily a power hitter. I mean, he hits the occasional home run, but he's a good hitter.
Yeah, he's a very good hitter. And I think that's Tavares is on deck, but they still have Soriano, Alfonso Soriano over there. They still have him if they want to use him.
Soriano, Juan Encarnacion, Pedro Feliz, all guys with some power. Belliard with Cleveland hit .284 last year, 17 homers, 78 batted in. So he does have some pop. And there's Soriano. He's got a bat with Willie Tavares due up next. But Soriano is ready in the dugout. We'll see what happens here with Belliard. 0-1. Looked like he was trying to tie it up on that one.
Well, and one thing to remember too, John, this is not a home run hitter's ballpark. I think this ballpark is a large ballpark. I mean, it's one of the biggest ballparks in the major league. So, and the air is always kind of heavy here, so it doesn't travel real well. So this is not a home run hitter's park. You're going to have to find the gap maybe.
If you want to hit a home run, it's best to hit it right down the lines.
Yeah.
0-1. Right on the outside corner. A little movement coming back to the plate. And quickly Belliard behind in the count. 0-2. What a pitch there by Lasso.
But he's also gotten a good break here, meaning Belliard, as this ball, you know, is in an acceptable range. But the thing to remember now is that the shadows are gone now. The sun is gone behind the clouds, so he can see the ball. This is your best chance if you're the Dominican right now.
Slow chop. Gurriel gets the sure out at first. He really wanted to go to second, but although his foot was turned towards second, he went ahead and got the sure out at first.
Well, you know, if you're one of the other infielders, you're supposed to be yelling, take the guy at first, take the guy at first. But you're right. He wanted to go to second right there, but then he decides, no, I better take the runner at first, which is the right play. Again, you know, things have worked well for the Dominicans, giving them their last shot because the sun has gone down, and that gives them a better chance of seeing the ball than they had, say, an inning ago or even 10 minutes ago.
So Alfonso Soriano, 36 home runs last year with the Texas Rangers, but things have not gone well for him in this tournament. He is 0 for 11 in the tournament and was not in the lineup for this big game.
Mark Teixeira was the only other guy, great player, that was hitless. He was 0 for 15 for the United States.
And of course, Soriano and Teixeira, ironically, were teammates last year in Texas. He is the possible tying run. And he spins a slider over the outside for strike one. 3-1 Cuba. Last chance for the Dominican. 2 down in the 9th inning.
Well,
one was way outside.
That ball's that's not in the acceptable range there.
The outfield deep all the way around. Call the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Smart pitch there by Lasso. Go back out there. See if you get another call, you know.
41,268, the paid crowd. The Cuba bullpen, everybody standing and watching, clapping. Lasso. Ooh. Another slider, and the count is 1-2. Down to their final strike. They're doing the same in the dugout. Everybody up on their feet.
It's interesting. They're in the dugout yelling for him, telling Lassos to calm down. Just take your time. It seems like he's got everything under control. I wouldn't say anything to him.
He's the calmest man in the yard.
Exactly.
Last strike. Down the right field line and into the crowd. Still 1-2 to Soriano. Here's the bullpen. That's the busiest bullpen I've ever seen. I mean, those guys have been warming up since the first inning, and when they're not warming up, they're up leading the cheers out there.
And Lasso's still throwing at 95 miles an hour, John.
Moise Salou, the runner at second. 1-2 the count. Did he swing? Yes! The first base umpire, Tom Hallion, rings him up. And Cuba has eliminated the Dominican Republic. 3-1. The underdog has defeated the team of great Major League stars. And the amateurs from Cuba are in the final. Cuba is going to the final Monday night against either China or Korea. They came from behind with a 3-run seventh, and their two-headed pitching monster, Yadel Marti and Pedro Luis Lasso, did it again, as they did last Sunday against Venezuela. They did the same thing here to the mighty sluggers of the Dominican Republic.
Well, you know, this pitch and this swing set off the celebration not only here but all over Cuba. And for, let's take a look here. Little slide piece, and you see Lasso says yes, ask somebody. And here's Soriano. This is the last gasp for the Dominican, and he definitely did go.
The final score: Team Cuba 3, the Dominican Republic 1. Cuba will face the winner of tonight's game between Japan and Korea, which we will have for you at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific on ESPN. Coming up next, it's Sit Go Racing to the Kentucky Derby. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. John Miller for Joe Morgan, Peter Gammons, and Jose Mota. Congratulations to Cuba. 3-1 Cuba over the Dominican.